Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to Aimless Babble Z, episode 405. I'm Chris Adams, the Taken Master, joined by.
RPG Maniac 05.
And Trioptical.
So today we've got some What You've Been Playing. How would you describe the middle segment, Tropical?
We want you to play games. Oh wait, if you're listening to this, you probably do.
Oh dear.
Find your non-gaming friends. We want them to play games. So we're just going to talk about some experiences and
Giving your friends gateway drugs to get even more into games. There you go. Oh yeah.
yeah,
Give them
Wow,
that
so now
first
we're
hit.
drug dealers. It's wonderful.
The first
aimless
hit's free.
pushers,
This is
aimless
escalating.
pushers.
And then oh crap, my mic just got moved. Oh jeez.
We'll talk about some new
Yeah,
stuff.
and then the news, if we have any. See what you've been playing. I've been dipping my toes in a lot of things, but it's not anything I can talk about at length, really. So it's like, I'll just talk about Disney 2, because I don't think anything else is, like, up there as far as, like, the time spent and played. I mean, that being said, Disney 2, I don't really have a lot to say, because I'm kind of done. Because I'm at the end of the line. It's like the whole, it's weird, dude. It's weird. It's like, to me, the game feels in, like, a weird spot, like it did, like, in year one. But, like, I guess, air quote, better, but it's like, now that I'm there, I can kind of see all the fixes that are in place, and I kind of feel like it's just like a dollar menu fix. It's not really like, oh man, I mean, they did take the time to like do address all these things and fix them, but it's like, I feel like everything could have been better. Like, everything where it's at now is good, but I feel like it could have all been better. Because I just don't want to play. It's like, I don't feel compelled to keep playing or want to keep playing. Like, even yesterday when we raided, the first time I was like, okay, fine, I'll raid with you guys, because you're kind of kidnapping and volunteering me, but after this, I'm kind of done. So, I mean, that being said, Thornlord coming back was pretty awesome, because it's, like, super OP compared to what it was before. It's, like, even, like, above Gallahorn, which it never was in D1, so it's, like, it went through the roof, basically, on the tier list, so it's pretty awesome.
The video
How
looked
did,
really
how did they
cool.
make it overpowered?
It's just like electricity everywhere.
Yeah, like, when you shoot something... Okay, so it has, like, the old perks, so it's, like, the more you shoot it, the faster
The
it goes.
faster it goes.
And then if you kill something, it gets like really fast reloads. And then they added when you kill something, it like shoots this lightning that like chains out, and it's just like and then also in Destiny 2, two of the subclasses, the Titan and the Warlock, have abilities that you can basically get infinite ammo and just keep shooting your machine gun. So basically, if you have a rift up with Lunafaction boots for the Warlock, or if you have your Rally Barricade on your Titan, you can just pop that, keep
Just
shooting.
be
and it's
infinite
like,
Thunderlord of Doom?
Yeah, just be like, just Rambo it. And
Wonderful.
it does,
That's gonna get nerfed.
it does a ton of damage and kills everything super fast. And like, I was using it yesterday. We melted the raid boss. It was awesome. And then like, I was doing the daily story mission for like the Petra garbage for like the Dreaming City. It was pretty awesome because it just like melted it. I wanted to share a button, but I was like, everybody's gonna have this gun. There's no reason to. But then, okay, and then like this game is like, you know, it's like doing that thing where just like it keeps on teasing me. So it's like last week, not this week, we had like the emissary at the 9 in the Queen's quarters when you went to her after the Oracle engine thing, and it's like, what's going on, man? This could be pretty cool. And and then today, or not today, sorry, yesterday, Tuesday reset on the Petra mission when you finished the mission. Or not finish the mission, I'm sorry, when you had the Oracle Engine dialogue. I don't think I got it 2 weeks ago, so maybe I did though, because that was 2 weeks ago. Anyway, but this week when you go there and your ghost is all like, yeah, Queen Mara, blah blah blah, we might be making things worse with the with the things that we're doing every week here in the Dreaming City, or the curse is getting worse every week, and we maybe, and like, you know, so like to me that just like confirmed the whole murder battery theory going around. It's like, oh, things are getting worse. We keep killing stuff, keep doing stuff, and it's like, maybe we're just being manipulated from like a unseen third party and we just don't know yet. So I don't know. It's like I just can't help it, like getting hyped because I want there to be a payoff. It's like this like 16-week like story mission payoff. That'd be so cool. But then on the one hand, it's like kind of lame because like, why is it time gated? That's the one thing about this game. It's like, because like the whole Thunderlord thing was like you could only do like one step a week for like 4 weeks to get that gun. So it's like it's a 5-week or 4-week gun, and it's time gated. But I mean, I guess that makes sense why it's so awesome. But it's like, dude, to get the gun it took so long. It's just like torture. But you know, what you do is Destiny 2. That's That's how they gotta do. Like Tropical says, man, they can only make the content so fast before you burn through it like a crack out Tekken, and you're just like, and you're just like, yeah, just it's all up in you, or you're all doing the things in the game. What else? What else about Destiny 2? Oh, there's like the season's ending, and I guess some of the stuff you can like only get during the course of a season. So it's like some of the things, it's like you gotta get a lot of things done or do certain things to unlock them. And I don't know where I'm at on some of the things, so I'm really hoping that the 2 quests that you get for Crucible do not reset, because I'm on this crazy step where you have to do like 25 quick matches, 25 competitive matches, and 25 Rumble matches, and it's like, that's 75 matches, and I don't like Crucible to begin with, but that's time spent to like, I don't even know if that's the last step, and it's like, why game? Why are you torturing me like this? And yeah. I guess we'll see if I can get through it and get the sweet gun that you get for that, which I don't even know which one it is. It's probably Broadsword, because I think the Luna's Howl is the competitive one, which I refuse to play because it's torture and just not fun. What else about Destiny 2? We talked about the whole Jimi Hendrix guitar stuff last time, and I raged about it, but still not fixed. So have fun getting your Petra flawless raid clears and getting ooh, I'm sort of wrong word. Getting abused by that at the end. Let's see. But yeah, Destiny 2, I kind of just stopped caring. So it is Destiny 2 too much time still, but after a point you're good, and it's time served, and it's like, I took all my transcendent mods and put them on my armor, but I need more because I want to have it on all my sweet armor builds. And basically, it's just like the Transcendent mod is like you when you first get the Reverie armor in Dreaming City, it's like you do more damage, but you also take more damage. But if you get the Transcendent armor or mods to put on your armor, it takes off the part where you just do more, where you take more damage. You're only doing more damage out. So it's very effective in the raid and any of the Dreaming City stuff, which is in-game stuff. So cool beans to that. I think that's pretty much it. It's whatever. I kind of don't care. I mean, yeah, whatever, dude. I'm just gonna like stop talking about Destiny 2 right now because it's like F that game. Like, it's back where it was before. It's like it's just that thing I go to every week to abuse myself for the pleasure of others in the Bungie dungeon room. So yeah, still haven't got that Tyranny of Heaven. Just want to point that out, before I move on. But still haven't got that effing bow. So F you game, and RNGesus, you can both F yourself. Oh, also, like, there's like challenges for the raid, and like they were broken before, but now they're fixed because the game's secretly broken all the time with everything. But I'm moving on now because I don't talk about this game anymore. F that game. Yeah, Destiny 2. I said it. What? Other game I was playing a lot. Did I talk about Spider-Man last time?
I don't know.
Did I finish it last time? Because I finished it in between now and then, maybe. I
don't remember if you had finished it yet, but you definitely talked about it a bit. Because you said everything is true. It is that good.
Okay, yeah.
Oh wait, no, you did, because you talked about the ending.
Okay, never mind. Spider-Man 2. But yeah, still. Oh, DLC. I played the DLC. It was good stuff. It was short-lived, but it was good. So, I enjoyed it. I kind of feel like they kind of nailed the art of the undersell on the DLC because it doesn't last very long, but it could have been so much more, but they didn't overhype it. But it's like in my brain I'm just like, oh, they kind of like had a missed opportunity here with the DLC for this game. That being said, it's like if they would have did that, people would have been like, wasn't in the base game, wasn't in the DLC, no. So I kind of think they're kind of like a catch-22 here with the DLC for Spider-Man, which like there's all these cool things that they could do or that they didn't do, and it's like, why didn't you do that? And it's like, whatever, man. But what's there is good, so can't take that from them. But kind of missed opportunity. Miles and Spider-Gwen and all the other hotness in the Spider Universe, Silk. I just want some Scarlet Spider myself. All the power, none of the responsibilities. Yeah, that's what I like. Just go around and do whatever. F them. But yeah, I'm just saying, missed opportunity. But hopefully in the sequel, maybe not. I guess we'll see.
Well, they probably set up for stuff so they can have material for later.
But I want it now, RPG. I want it.
You can't. Now. Sorry. No.
No. Besides that, played some Gran Turismo Sport today. They've added stuff. They keep adding stuff, so that's cool. Nothing new to report really. Just they've been adding stuff. Yeah, that's all I'm saying, because that's what they've been doing every month or whatever, new stuff. So always nice to jump back in and be like, oh, what new cars have they added? And then today I actually bought some, so I spent like millions of credits. Because I had them saved up and I was like, why am I saving credits? Don't remember, whatever, buy these cars. And I bought them cars. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. I remember now. But it's fine, because I'm going to keep playing, so it's whatever. What else? Okay, 2 more games. So, firstly, Tetris Effect. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. And Tetsuya Mizuguchi, please make more games, because man, I played this and I was like, it's Tetris, but it has like all the flavor of like Rez and all his awesomeness and like the synesthesia and effects and stuff. And I was like, oh man, and it's pretty intense and just like very just enjoyable, and it's cool too, because oh man, okay, so it does something no other Tetris game does, where it's like the farther you get in Tetris, like usually the lines like fall faster and faster and faster, and so in this one, they get like fast, but then like something will happen in like the stage or the music, and it like hits the drop, and it slows down, and it's like, and it's just like, it's like, oh man, because it like it's like going fast and fast, but then it slows down, and it's like, oh man, it goes fast, but then you have like the focus thingy where you can like slow everything down, and then you just make lines, and you get your like octohector, whatever it's called, octo and dodecahedron, like the
Octorus.
Those thingies, yes, where you can like clear in like a ton of lines of Tetrises or Tetraminos or whatever they're called.
Do you know what a T-spin is?
Something about the T-shaped thingy where you flip it and then you clear a line or something. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, like you can like move it seemingly through other pieces, because the way the blocks spin, like they don't actually spin, they just like it's like rotating the block but without the actual rotation in between, so there is no in betweens, so you can like rotate blocks into places seemingly through other blocks and then make lines that way. I just found out like those are worth more points than Tetris is.
What? I didn't know that.
And I was like, that's how, because I was trying to get double S on the stages. Like I could only get S. Like that was the highest I could get. Like I don't understand how you're doing it. And I watched this like crazy, amazing Tetris player on YouTube. Was like, oh my gosh! And yeah, the chat was talking. It was like, yeah, like T-spins apparently are worth more than Tetrises. I'm like, oh, so now I gotta learn T-spins.
Well, you don't have to tropical.
But I want double S. Oh man, that game is so good.
But yeah, I finished the whatever the story mode's called. It's called something weird, like a journey or something.
Journey mode.
Yeah, finished journey mode, and then I was like looking at the other modes, but it was like 3 in the morning or something, and I was like, I'll come back to this. So I will check out those other modes later, because it's like you have the different modes, but then you also have like, I'm not sure if it like rotates like every day or every week or something, but it's like there's stuff in there to do besides just the whole journey thing. Like each mode is like, you know, play for 30 seconds or 3 minutes or something, clear a bunch of lines as fast as possible, just keep going in marathon mode, or just like chill out mode where you can just enjoy the synesthesia, man. Because man, I gotta say, that dolphin level, I very much enjoyed that, because I love dolphins. And when like you could just like, oh, okay, that is like what makes this game so amazing. It's like everything is tied to an effect. So it's like if you push a button, like a sound goes off, or like an effect happens. If you clear a line, same thing. So it's like everything you do in the game is tied to an effect. And it's like on the dolphin stage, when you clear a line, dolphins would jump out the water, and it's just like, oh, and just like, ah, it was just like it was like the most like the best. Some of the best positive feedback in a game of like that game. And then like one of the final stages is like you're in like, it's very trippy too, because it's like some of the final stages like you're all like out in space, and you're just like going through the space, and there's all these stars and all the cosmic dust, and it's just like super celestial juices all up in it, and just like, oh man, just it's great. It's a great experience. I would highly recommend it. I haven't played it in VR. I only played it in normal eye vision, so I'm looking forward to trying it out in VR and seeing how trippy it is. What else I play? But yeah, since I also finished journey mode in that game, it gets my seal of approval. Totally recommend it. I think it was like $30, $40. I don't remember. It's totally worth it. If you like Tetris, you'll like it. And if you don't like Tetris, well, you will have yourself an experience, my friends. Besides that, only other game I played Red Dead Redemption 2, I haven't gotten very far at all. I'm like 2 missions in after the very beginning of the game because my stream kept crapping out. So yeah, next time I stream, I will just use my Elgato because maybe my PS4 just can't handle it because there's a lot going on there. Not much to save except for it looks. I mean, there's a lot of subsystems, a lot more than I was expecting. I don't think I'm going to enjoy having to pick up every piece of thingy that is like in the environment to get into my inventory. I can see that being something that's going to be annoying. Shooting still, yeah, nice and aim and shoot, and a bunch of different health bars. And your horse has like health bars and stamina, so a lot of subsystems going on, a lot of RPG, like even more RPG elements than like the first game, which I enjoyed. So I'm hoping it's as good as like all that stuff is even better. So, but yeah, not much going on. Met John Marston, that was cool. He's there because it's a prequel, so you know that was pretty immediate. Where it's like, oh, John Marston, ho ho. I was kind of bummed about that though. Like initially, like, oh, it's a prequel, so I guess
It's a prequel?
it still has to win me over as far as like story. So, but I haven't played very much of it, so not sure what everything is going on. Or I'm not very far into it, but it's kind of weird to like have Dutch as your dude. That's like all your main NPC. That's like, all right, let's go do this, guys. So yeah, because that guy's a jerk. We already know. So this isn't going to end well, probably, but whatever. But yeah, that's besides the stuff I'll talk about in the next segment with the co-op action with my waifu. That is all I've been playing.
Boom. I'm slightly further than you in Red Dead then. Because it really is, you know that thing I always talk about where like the game opens up and then that's when I lose interest? The beginning part is quite linear. What you're playing right now is really linear, and like that goes on for quite a bit, and then it opens up. So far, though, it has the same hook that the original Red Dead had for me, where it was like, there's all this stuff in the world. Like even though I hate riding from location to location just to get to the start of the mission. There's just like lots of stuff to do in between. But I think the big thing was like in a lot of the games when the game world suddenly opens up, it's like at the beginning you did have sort of this goal in mind that you're trying to get to in the end, but then right now it just so happens, oh, you have a little breathing room, you know, you can go and do other things right now. I still don't know what the main like plot line is for Red Dead 2. I know in the very beginning of the game they talk about something that happened, and then that's why they're where they are, and then they go someplace else, but then it's just sort of like, okay, you know, we're living out here in the frontier, and we need food, we need what is it, ammunition, and we need money. So everybody in the group, you know, we need these things. Go get it. And then you're one of the group, and so you just like go out and just like, okay, I'm gonna go get. For me, it's been about food. I was like, oh, that hunting was really fun. I'm gonna go hunting, and I've just been going around hunting just random stuff everywhere. And yeah, as far as like the main plot hasn't really even set in yet. I'm still like meeting the people in my group, and that's kind of it. But still, like it's really awesome. And I last time I was talking about Red Dead when I finished it in preparation for Red Dead 2. I was talking about how like it feels really janky narratively if you're just trying to go through the main plot. Oftentimes you finish a mission and then your quest givers, they just sort of leave you out in the middle of nowhere, and then you have to ride back to where they were to get the next mission, and it like does it again, and it doesn't flow very well. Red Dead 2, they added like little things that make it flow a lot better. For example, there are a few missions that I've done so far where I had to leave the main operating area of my group to go out somewhere to do a mission, and then like the next mission would start back in the starting area, and like the other NPC that I was with, who I helped, they'll actually ask you like, do you want to stay or do you want to come back with me? And if you say stay, then it's just like the first Red Dead is just like it feels natural. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stick around because I'm just gonna hunt around here or something or whatever. But if you ask to go back with them, then it does like a cinematic. You ride back to camp, and then you're back at camp, and you don't have to do the whole traveling thing on your own, where it really breaks the pace of the story. So far, that stuff like they have fixed, but it does seem like I can't remember if Red Dead 1 felt this slow. Red Dead 2 feels really slow.
I agree. Like when I was like walking around at the very beginning, I was like, I can't go very fast in this.
Yeah,
Very...
you walk very slowly. The horses. In the beginning, you have these really slow horses also, and so the pace of the game is just really like there's a mechanic now. I don't know what would we call these? Like, what was the first game to have sort of like Batman's detective mode or Assassin's Creed
or something, or
Eagle Vision? Yeah, like there's a thing like that helps you track animals. So you push the button, and then there'll be like a path that you can focus on, and it's supposed to represent the footprints and all the like bent grass and twigs and stuff like that. It's like, oh, this is the trail, and if you follow this, you'll find whatever animal made it. And it shows like your scent lines, so you can tell like which way the wind is going, and you got to go. You want to be downwind from your prey, otherwise they'll like detect you. And it's like, oh, this is really neat. But yeah, that's a really slow mechanic. Tracking animals through the wilderness is like, and yet like it feels right. Like it doesn't. It doesn't have sort of this breakneck pace of like Grand Theft Auto 5, where it's like, yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5, it takes place in the modern world, and so it is a certain speed. And when you imagine the Old West, I guess you would imagine like, yeah, it's like a much slower pace, and I'm not really in a hurry to go anywhere. And like I at one point I ended up, well, it was funny because it uses the in-game model for all the cutscenes and stuff. And I had fallen a lot in the mud, and so like my Arthur was like really muddy, and then I got into a cutscene, and he's just like mud all over his face. I was like, how do I get clean? Like I want to be clean. Like how do I get? You can shave at camp, but like you can't bathe or anything. And I was like, do I just go and like throw myself into the river or something? Yes. Like, how do I get this mud off? No, I couldn't do it in the river. Like I tried to just like fall or like crouch down in the river, but it's not. It's like too shallow. I was like, can I fall in the water and then maybe I'll be clean then? But that just makes you muddy in like different ways. And eventually, like I found you can pay for a bath at some hotels. And it's just like this really long, like drawn out, like bath scene. Like this is amazing. So the game is extremely immersive, and it looks beautiful, so I think that helps. You're in the world and it's just like, yes, I do want to be here. Since there is no Red Dead 3 coming out, I guess I'm not really in a hurry. I mean, Red Dead 2 took me what, a decade to get to the end. So why not? But yeah, I think that's how I played Grand Theft Auto 4. I played total immersion, so I didn't skip any of the rides. Like I hate driving, and so I took cabs everywhere, but I didn't skip any of the cab rides. Like I just sat in the back of the cab and like looked outside until I got to wherever I was going.
See, I can't see why someone with that mindset would play open world games, because like not half the fun, but like to me, I've always enjoyed like going all the places myself and not fast traveling, just to feel immersed in the world, like I'm in it.
Well, yeah, like the cab is like that, except that I'm not driving. And then like when I drive in Grand Theft Auto, unless it's during a mission, like I obey the traffic signals and stuff, which is really funny because if you do that, you notice like the traffic signals are all on the wrong side of the road. They're like, if you stop at the red light is above you. You wouldn't be able to see it from inside the car. It should be on the other side of the street. But yeah, like I remember playing that one all the way through. It has a stat. Like at the end, it shows you how many times you skip the cab ride, and it's like 0. And up until I was trying to finish Red Dead. Like my fast travel was 0, and then I was just like, no, these horse rides are too long, and I'm just trying to finish this thing. And then I finally figured out fast travel, and it was just like it went much faster. But yeah, so far I have no desire to do any of that. Even when I'm like traveling between places, like nothing seems urgent yet in the story. So I'm just like, I just sort of trot along on my horse. And they gave me a faster horse, but I was like, no, I've become attached to the first horse. You should not have told me that my bond increased with my horse if you were going to replace it a few missions in.
Like, this is your fault, not mine.
So I was like, no, I'm keeping this horse. And like occasionally you'll be out there, and I haven't been ambushed like by predatory animals or anything yet, but rival gangs will come out and like ambush you. And well, that's I guess another reason why I still have the default horse. Like the second horse that they made me buy got killed in one of these ambushes.
Oh my!
He's like, no, you killed my horse. Like, well, that's okay. I was more bonded with the other one anyway.
You were always dog food.
You were gonna die. We both knew it would end something like this. Maybe not like this, but something. Oh, there's a hilarious. Do you watch Polygon's YouTube channel?
Nope.
They make the weirdest, but also kind of awesome game-related videos. Like IGN does sort of the typical stuff. Oh, we're a news site, so we'll do like a news recap for the day, and then they'll do things like here are all the cutscenes for this game, because I guess that's what gets views. And they're like, well, we can do that. We're a giant corporation. We can do that. But Polygon, like, I don't know what their mandate for their video team is, but they come up with the weirdest stuff. And sometimes it's just very strange, and then sometimes it's like strange and hilarious. And they put up a video called Getting Ready for Big Boy Season in Red Dead Redemption 2. And it's the story of like how one guy, he was supposed to make a guide for like starting out the game and like explaining the sort of core mechanics. And one of the mechanics he wrote about was like, oh, if you eat too much, then you'll become fat. In more words than that, but essentially that's what he said. And so the video team had to go out and find footage for all of these things. And they tried everything to make Arthur fat, and they couldn't do it. And yeah, the video is just hilarious. Like the entire process, it's ridiculous. But yeah, they make good videos. You should check them out.
So technologically not as advanced as San Andreas is what you're saying, because you don't gain or mass to your body.
Well, no. What happened, and it was very easy to make him underweight. If you don't eat enough, he becomes underweight, which like affects your stats. So your health goes down, but your stamina goes up if you're underweight. And I think if you're overweight, it's the opposite. So you get more health, but you have lower stamina. And yeah, at first they were like, oh, simple, just went into like the first tavern and just like kept eating oatmeal. And then for some reason it like stayed at underweight. And it's like, and so the first person who was attempting this, like she sent out a message on Slack to the rest of the company. It's like, how do you make him fat? And they're like, someone suggested, oh, probably like a meat-based diet. And it's like, okay, so she went into the bar and just started eating like hundreds and hundreds of like beef stew and like chops and all these things, and then it didn't work. Like she was still underweight. It's like, okay, so what's going on? and he got to go out, and someone else suggested that, yeah, you gotta like, how about, trying empty calories? So instead of like eating meat, just go out to the general store and just like eat candy. And just tried to eat candy and never happened. Like it never even got up to average weight. I was like, okay, that's weird. And so that's what they published with. It was just like they just showed footage of him eating candy, but they never showed like a fat Arthur. And so someone else, I guess, got curious, like, okay, I'm going to take over and try to figure this out, even though we've already published the video. And he had a plan. Like, he was going to just, like, load up with food, like canned peaches and beans and all this stuff, and then, like, limit activity. So he just got, like, a luxury hotel room and just, like, sat on the bed all day and just, like, ate canned foods. And then when it wouldn't let him eat anymore, then he just went to sleep. And they wake up and then sit on the bed and then just eat food. And yeah, it didn't work. In fact, like what happened in that case was like at one point the game wouldn't let him sleep anymore. It was just like, you slept too much, basically. And so he went out into the wilderness, like, yeah, where a man can eat and sleep whenever and whatever he wants. He's just like out in the swamp eating like tons and tons of canned beans and peaches, and then ran out of food. And he was still like, the most he got was average. And like, what is happening? So he went on Reddit. It's like, how do you? And apparently got on Reddit, like no one can figure it out yet either. They're just like, how do you do it? And people were saying like, oh, you have to eat or like set up camp, which is like the fire, rest next to the camp, and then eat all the food that you can, and then tear down the camp, and then set up another camp, and then just like keep doing that. And I don't know, I guess they were trying to like increase as much rest and as much food as possible. And yeah, like in the end, basically it just never worked. Like they couldn't figure it out. They couldn't get him above average. But yeah, no, just watching the process, it was really hilarious. They make good videos, strange videos. Like you wouldn't think of that, but they're really good. Like they did this other one, which was all of the Zelda games, the timeline like mapped out, and it was really crazy because they included like the CDI ones. And the Zelda games where Link was just like cameo character, and it's pretty hilarious. Anyway, that was Aimless time. Going back to what I've been playing.
I was going to mention that there's this part at the beginning where you're in some scuffle with some dude, and you can choose to like let him live or kill him. So I'm interested to see if that like has any type of like major ramifications. And then also it's cool when you meet Marshall because he has like a big scar on his, well, not a big scar, but he has like scars on his face. So it's like you see how he got them in the Red Dead 1. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, that's all I was going to mention.
Mauled by a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really pretty. It's really good. So pretty. I think that's like the biggest thing. Although, well, so I played Tetris Effect also, like just a ton. That game has disrupted my Red Dead time the most. I think so. It came out on Friday, and by Saturday afternoon, my playtime was like 10 hours of Tetris Effect. It's just so pretty, and it's really awesome because like it's basically just Tetris, and yet because of all the background stuff. Like, it's not out of left field. Like, old Tetris games had unrelated background stuff. Like, just, like, all the Russian palace buildings and all that. Like, what does that have to do with Tetris? Except that the guy who made it in Russia. They're like, well, I don't know. But, yeah, just... my daughter is like constantly singing the song from the first level now, and that's like the song that plays in the morning to wake her up. And every time we play, she's like, she wants that one or the mermaid level, or it's like, there's just so many good music tracks in the game. But yeah, I played through on beginner, finished journey mode, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it on normal. How hard could it be? Way, way harder. Like it took me an hour, I think, to finish the last level on normal.
They're tropical because I played through a normal first time through. But then again, that being said, I had been playing Tetris Ultimate like not in preparation, but like on and off in preparation for this. So it's like I kind of was like conditioned already.
The last Tetris game I played like extensively was the one on Game Boy.
Wow, that
Like
is the
with
original
with my Game Boy.
and a long time ago.
Yeah. And it was funny because like back then I remember, and this is going to be playing into Asian stereotypes, but like back then I remember playing Link Cable with my neighbor, and like he never won, and I was just like, huh, I must be pretty good at this. uh, no, I mentioned that because like that story always reminds me of Brain Age when I used to play with my coworkers at a GameStop. And there was like that thing where you do like 20 math problems as fast as you can as like a competition. And it would start and I would just be like done. And then I would wait for them for like a minute or two. Anyway. Yeah, Tetris like a long time ago I thought I was pretty good. And then I saw those videos of like the pros playing at basically insta-drop speeds, and you know you can't even see what's happening. Like somehow they just know where to put everything, and they just like build it perfectly. And I was like, oh, I can't play Tetris at all.
Maybe
Yeah,
they're
so-
like secretly physics prodigies or something.
Maybe they're actually robots.
or that.
Yeah, I saw this documentary called Tetris Masters, and like I never thought I was good at Tetris. After I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'm never going to be a world-class Tetris player. Cause
I will
like,
never be this.
There are like versions of Tetris where the blocks are invisible and like you have to drop them and clear lines. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
This is insane. This is absurd. This is get out of here.
I don't know if I could do that, but well, so I noticed like myself getting a lot better as I played more, and I was like, oh, this is really awesome. Like I can feel myself getting better. And then I watched a guy streaming yesterday. I was like, it was amazing. It was like the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. Every time he did zone mode, he would get like 18, 19 lines. I was like, that is insane. He was playing through journey mode on expert, which is just ridiculously fast. Like I think my speed tolerance maxes out at speed level 9 or 10.
Yeah, me too.
Like at first though, like I couldn't do 6. Like 6 felt too fast for me. But then later, after I just sort of like, you know, brute forced my way through the last level on normal, I was like, oh, 6 is actually really slow compared to that one. I think it goes up to 13 at the end.
Is there a pattern to how they or to the pieces that drop?
It's all random.
You can set it in the options,
No, you can't.
and I think it depends on the mode. Like there is a mode where it's like a set order, and then another mode where it's just random. But then you can like there's so many different customization settings. Like you can set it up. So the guy I was watching yesterday, he had it set up so that instead of just showing the next piece, it showed the next 4, I think.
What?
And he was just like planning these
process.
things out so fast. So I was like, wow, this is so amazing. And like after having played so much and feeling like, oh, I am improving, I was watching. I was like, I don't know if I should feel like, you know, despondent because I'll never be that good, or should I be inspired? As like, that's a human. Rob,
That's a human.
I'm a human.
Jeez.
It was insane. But yeah, the game is so cool. And then, so I finished on beginner, and then I played. Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play VR. So I switched consoles, and I was playing VR, and I had like some of the weirdest experiences in VR with this, like. Because the game is designed to be like synesthesia, and it's like, oh, you know, you feel it in your hands because the controller rumbles, and you know you hear the music and you see the stuff happening, and it's like everything is connected. And like, there were a few weird moments when like some particle or something would like fly out of the screen, and I would feel it hit my forehead.
Oh.
And it would distract me momentarily, and I would like mess up, and it was like, that is so like, what is happening? It is breaking my brain.
Well, that's not
Tropical
good.
is being assimilated into a Tetramino.
It's so cool. Yeah, in VR, like I don't know why I didn't expect it to be this way, but like when you see footage of it, you know, it's like it's basically the Tetris board is in the middle, and then stuff is happening behind it. Even the stuff that's like on the sides, you perceive it as being like behind where the board is. In VR, the stuff is happening all around you. So there's like this level that starts on sort of like a sunset beach, I guess, and there's like palm trees behind the Tetris board. In VR, the palm trees and like tiki torches and stuff are like around you. So you look to your left and right and they're there, and the Tetris board is still sort of floating out there in front of you. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. It feels so 3D and just like everything is here, and it's
Just changed your life.
kind of. I was doing pretty well. There was two other games. I played Static Institute for Retention, I think it's called. It was like a VR puzzle game that uses the DualShock. So the way that it works is in the game you see your hands are like locked inside of this puzzle box thing. And then in the real world, like you feel like your hands are linked together because like both of them are holding onto the DualShock.
Mm-hmm.
And each of the buttons and analog sticks like does a different thing. And you're just like trying to figure out, okay, you know, how do I solve this puzzle on my hand? And you do that, you know, every stage is a different puzzle, and it's really quite clever. Feels kind of like, I guess, Portal, sort of, except the whole time it's just you're sitting in a chair, and then there's a sort of ominous scientist researcher guy who's just observing you but not really saying anything. He's just like, I'm not going to bother you, and it's just like sitting there and like taking notes and occasionally moves his head, and it's just like, this is really cool. It's a pretty neat puzzle game. But yeah, like I finished that game, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna finish more games. I'm gonna finish. I've been wanting to play Late Shift because back then it was like when we saw the concept, I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's like an FMV game that doesn't have any cuts, or it's not like what was that game called, Dragon's Lair, where there's just like really obvious cuts at the points where you make your decisions and stuff. And I played through it once. I think I probably got the worst ending. But I noticed like, oh, actually, this is not the game is not as clever as I thought it would be. Because when you think like, oh, there's no cuts and it feels seamless, like how do they do that? It's like, well, the way they did it is, first of all, modern day movies, like the way that they cut scenes anyway, just feels very natural to us now. So having those, like, there are definitely cuts, but because of the way that they're cut and the way that movies are now, like, you don't notice them. And the other part is just like having seamless, like, no loading. If there was any loading time in between those, then you would feel like, oh, this is not a seamless movie.
Way to take away the magic of the game, Tropical. Jeez.
Yeah, Tropical. Stop having fun, guys.
It's
Tropical.
it's still like the production value feels high enough that it doesn't feel like an FMV game. Like it really does feel like a movie, and then the stuff that's happening is very intense. And like, oh, this is really cool. But yeah, I got a terrible ending. Did you see all the endings, Tegan?
No, I haven't seen all the endings.
Okay. Did you not get a terrible ending?
The first time I played, I got a terrible ending. And
Okay.
then I think at some point I got a better ending. Because I was like, I'm
Okay.
going to replay this and avenge myself.
terrible.
I do want to.
Someone died.
Essentially,
And it was my
everyone
fault.
dies
And I was
ending.
like, no.
Okay, 'cause I was just about to say, is it like everyone dies horribly, kind of, or is that?
Essentially, the everyone dies ending.
Oh no, I love those.
I got it. I was like, like up until this point, I felt like everything felt like a thing that could happen in a movie. And I guess what happens in actual movies is that through random happen chance, like it all works out in the end,
Yeah.
and then you're good. But that is not what happens in this one.
Yeah, it just takes a dark
just-
turn. It's like, oh, what's this text? Oh, well.
It's like my choices I guess would not have led to that unless there was a movie miracle at the end. So I don't know. I saw the credits. Like that kind of counts as ending. And then I guess a game I forgot to mention earlier was The Quiet Man, which was that
Oh, you
weird
got that one?
live action trailer that they showed Square Enix was making. Yeah, I got it. It is weird. It
Well, I
starts.
mean-
So the scene that they showed in the trailer, like that's basically the beginning of the game. And then you have a combat scene. And the combat is like
Bad.
I guess
That's
it's
what the
like
reviews say.
it's
How does combat
How
work
to
in this
describe.
game?
you know how like Devil May Cry 2 had these really awesome moves that you
Wow,
could
you
do?
probably picked the wrong Devil
But
May
there
Cry
was
to use
no-
as a description
Right.
for that.
Well,
'cause
no,
it was the
like-
worst Devil May Cry.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like Devil May Cry 2 had all these cool moves you could use, but there was no reason to use any of them. That was like what was wrong with the combat is like why would you do any of this stuff if you can just sort of, mash the sword button and just like kill everything that way? The combat in Quiet Man is kind of like that. Like you can do cool things, but you rarely ever have to, and so you really can just like mash your way through a lot of the combat. I think what the combat is supposed to be like is, I guess like it's actually kind of like Batman combat. Like it's not a counter button, or I guess then it's not like Batman combat, but it is sort of like, you have your attacks and then you have counters, which are, it's not one button, it's two buttons. So you have to like dodge first. You push a dodge button and then push an attack button, and then it'll do a cool counter. But oftentimes you don't need it because you can just like run in there.
The living crap out of stuff.
Yeah, fists flying, and then, if you're hitting them, they're not gonna even be able to try to hit you.
So like, what's the? I guess what's the gimmick for this game?
Gimmick is that
Well, no,
There.
because I mean, they went through all this trouble to be like, oh, it's gonna be this cinematic fighter experience thing, and then they had that weird teaser trailer, and it's like, I don't know what's happening right
yeah.
now.
So that's the gimmick. It's like it has FMV, so like real people cutscenes, but the main character that you play as is deaf, and so I don't know if this is like genius or just like we should feel very upset. Like it feels like they filmed all these cutscenes, but then they were like, oh, we don't want to pay any voice actors or anything. So, oh yeah, he's deaf, and we'll just do it from his point of view. So there's cutscenes, full length like scenes of people talking, but there's no voices.
Oh.
So imagine like watching any like drama on TV with the mute button on.
I have done this before.
It's just like
It is not very
quiet. You just like watch
productive.
people moving their mouths. And like to be fair, they did add sound. So every time your character is listening and I guess probably understanding through lip reading or whatever, they do this sort of, I wouldn't say melodic, but like sounds produced by some instrument.
What?
It'll just be like this. Sort of like what's the? There's an instrument that sounds like this. It's
Saxophone, trumpet.
There is no instrument that sounds like that tropical.
I guess it's like a harp, sort of. But not when you like pluck it. It's just sort of when you're like if someone was just like playing around with a harp, who didn't know how to play a harp.
So that is not playing a harp, tropical. I really don't. Do you not know how instruments work? Is this like a thing for you?
No, that's what I thought. Like it's not
What instrument
melodic,
sounds like that?
but it's like it's a
And what
sound
if you're just
produced by an instrument.
not playing the harp, but beating it with a hammer? It's like that.
No, just like sort of like
tropical. That's not.
you know,
that's
if
not
you're
how
in a
it's
music store and like you just sort of run your hand across the harp as you walk by, it's like that sound.
tropical. Listen, we're gonna have to introduce you to instruments and teach you how they actually work. Because I don't think you know how instruments
I'll show
work.
it to you later. That really is the sound.
Yeah, well, not a sound that an instrument makes.
It is the sound that the instrument makes. It's just like the instrument is not being played; it's being like.
With the hammer, yes, we've established this. But again, it's not how instruments
Anyways. Yeah. So the whole.
Great, you broke Tekken. Hope you're happy. Great. Just great.
So yeah. Anyway, like. The whole game plays out, and it has these scenes that have no, like, unless you can lip read, you don't know what's going on. You can kind of guess what's going on, and I think the game actually tricks you into thinking one thing is going on, because at the end, the credits roll, and then they play back a few of the scenes, but with voices. And so, well, at that point, I was like, "Oh, they didn't just cheap out and not do any voices.
They just
they did this on purpose to like trick you, because like the scenes they play back are from the game, but with voices like they're totally different than what you expected. And then it says, "Oh, now you have unlocked a new mode where you can play through with all the people talking."
It's like, why didn't we just do that from the get-go?
I think so. You know, you have to play it twice.
Yeah, but is
I don't feel like
is it good enough for you to want to play it twice?
it is. The story is intriguing enough, I think, that I am going to play
How long
through
is
it
this
again.
game, Tropical?
It was longer than I thought. I think it was. I streamed the whole thing. I think it was like three hours something.
That's not bad.
So not. But yeah, like some of the combat sequences are pretty hard because they just throw a ton of guys at you, and without sort of Batman, like in Batman combat, if someone approaches you from behind and you push the counter button, Batman can handle that. But this guy, somehow you have to make sure if someone's about to attack you from behind, you have to like turn around to face the guy in order to like dodge the incoming attack and then counterattack. I don't know. But it reminds me of actually a few other sort of PS2 era combat games that weren't that great, but I still liked them because the combat animations look pretty cool. There was that Jet Li game, Rise to Honor. Yeah.
Wait,
What?
how did this guy? Wait, how does he fight if he can't hear anything?
He's Daredevil.
That Daredevil's blind. He can hear just fine.
Whoops, wrong sense. You're right.
Well, I mean, you can fight if you can see. Just it's harder, I guess. Or you get used to it, maybe.
That
I don't know.
Doesn't make sense.
I mostly can hear.
I mostly can hear. Wow.
There are days when, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Some days I can only hear out of one side. I'm falling apart.
I was just about to say. You really are.
I'm feeling phantom things hit my forehead, and lose hearing in one of my ears every once in a while. Yeah, so I finished those 3 games, and I was like, wow, I'm on a roll. Like, I'm finishing stuff. This is really cool. And then Tetris Effect came out, and just like, I should be playing Red Dead or like Kingdom Hearts or something, but Tetris is just so easy to jump into and play a little bit and then jump out of and then jump into, and it is consuming my gaming time because it's so good. Did I? Oh, that's right. I fell asleep that night. Halloween.
Yeah,
Halloween. I brought my PS4 out into the garage, and I set up all my VR stuff in the garage because, like, it's just easier to show people out there. And I was gonna try to play Until Dawn Rush of Blood. It was like the last day that I could sort of reason with myself, yes, you should play a scary game. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I've had that game since launch, and I haven't. There's only like certain times when I'm able to play these scary games, and it just has not come to me. And I just thought, okay, I'll do it. Maybe if I put it outside where it's like the sun is actually out and everything, it'll be easier. It was not easier. The garage is cold and like concrete, so it's like much more like the environment in the game. And like it starts, I didn't even start like the actual game. I was just like, I'll see if I can play through the demo, and I got the demo running. And it starts, and you're on rails, like literally in a creepy hallway, and it's moving very slowly. And you look to the left, and there's a door, and like, oh, it's like Hannah's in there crying, and then the next door is on your right, and I turned to the door, and like something jumped out at me, and I was like, nope, took off the headset, and yeah, then I tried it again. I was like, okay, I already know a jump scare's coming. I was like, well, I still didn't see what it was, and it was still really freaky, and there's a third door, and then, yeah, like I couldn't make it to the third door, and I was like, okay, this is insane. It's like, wait a minute, I thought this game was like on-rail shooter. Like, I didn't even have guns, or I haven't even chosen like what my control scheme is yet. And so I stayed in past the third door and realized I had not even gotten to the title screen yet. After the third door, it says Supermassive Game Presents. And I was like, oh my god. So I never made it to the title screen.
Awkward.
It was really bad. But I got to show some of the neighbors. And like one guy went through the whole demo like it was nothing. He was just like, oh, it was really cool. And then the other guy, I think he was like much scareder, but he didn't want to show it. So he was sort of like hunched over and like looking mostly downwards the entire time. And I was saying, it was like, how can he see what he's shooting over there? But yeah, and still, like, that's much farther than I did.
Like he showed you.
But yeah, that was really cool. I also checked out like MLB Home Run something VR, and it's just like 3 different ballparks, and you use one move controller as a baseball bat, and you just like hit the ball over and over and over again. That game has a platinum for some reason. Makes no sense to me.
Maybe you hit enough home runs, you platinum the game.
Yeah. But that is exactly what you do.
Ah, there you go. It's genius in its simplicity.
Yeah, I guess that's all I've been playing. Although, so one thing I want to say about Destiny, like, until Tekken mentioned that, so there was that glitch, right, where your powerful gear all dropped 1 power level below your previous gear.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't bother me when it was it bothered me when it was happening, but not that much. It wasn't until, a few weeks later we talked about it, and then another week, and I realized, like, how much progress I lost there. you get a lot of powerful gear every week now. And I think it was like 2 weeks where I made no progress because all the powerful gear was 1 power lower than my light power level. 2 weeks, like I could have been I could have been so much more powerful than I was. Yeah, very frustrating. Now that I've had time to think about it, I'm like, that's a lot. You know, if I actually was trying to get raid ready, like that's 2 weeks. 2 weeks of progress that I missed on. Terrible.
It is a pretty terrible game. That is correct.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I think that's all I've been playing. RPG.
Wonderful. So I picked up Kingdom Hearts: The Story so far. So I started. Well, I'm not playing them in order because why would I need to do that? But so I started by playing Point Two Fragmented, all that stuff. But so it's the one that's with Aqua being trapped in the bad place. And yeah, it's supposed to be like kind of like a prelude to Kingdom Hearts 3, but it looks very dated compared to what they've been showing recently. So I don't know how accurate that is anymore. So yeah, but yeah, I kind of had to get my Kingdom Hearts fixed because Kingdom Hearts, so I could not do it. But then I started 3D after that, so that way I can at least play through that while I'm kind of keeping myself busy or occupied when I do have other games I should be playing but not playing. But you know how that goes. We all do things we shouldn't be doing, but here we are. Other than that, I've been playing Valkyria Chronicles 4, which wait, how far did I get before? Well, I unlocked squad stories or something that they do now, so it's like it kind of like fleshes out the characters, the side characters, and so that way you can kind of learn about them and take that kind of takes the whole personality thing a step farther than they did in the previous games. So like certain characters will kind of interact with each other, so the more often you deploy certain characters with each other, you can unlock the side stories, and then you could get new like what is the thing called, potentials for them when they are in battle and stuff. So it's kind of useful for that whole deal of making your characters better. But yeah, but I haven't really been doing much gaming because again I was trying to catch up on all my shows and stuff, so I regret nothing. But that's pretty much all I've been playing. So
Okay, well,
So many shows.
and then work and stuff was happening, so that was also a thing.
so I guess we can move on to the middle segment. Tropical, take it away.
Cool. If you've listened to this podcast before, you know that I like more people to play games.
He
And
does. He's
I've
weird.
thought, I worked in retail, and I've just like thought a lot about how to get people to play games. And last week, or I don't know when it was, Tekken was asking for suggestions on what games to introduce to his waifu. So that was very fun. I was like very excited to see to help out there. But really, over the years, I've decided it's much more complicated than it would first seem. Like, people usually, their first thoughts go to things like, oh, pick something simple, pick something that the casual people like.
Never pick
Or-
anything that casual people like. Don't do that. Don't do that too.
Well, what I found is just like it really depends on the person and sort of their current history, and then like what they already like in other media, and then you go from there. But yeah, like
When you were saying that made me think of like in the future when like we're streaming games, or like when it's all digital or whatever it happens in the future. It's like when it's like the Netflix equivalent of like, you should try this, you should watch this, you should watch this, or like the Amazon thing where it's like, oh, you might also like this. People who bought this also bought this. People who bought this also browse this. It's like
They would
it's,
need to fix the algorithm for those, though.
yeah, it's like
So
the gaming version of like, it's like you've been tropicoled. You're tropicaling is this game after playing this game because you're interested in this game or this type of game. You've now been tropicoled.
Yeah, like I don't like any of the algorithms, and even like the future ones that you're talking about, I don't think they would be very good because another one of my objectives is to get people to play stuff that they don't think they would like. I think that's like a big problem right now with games being. I guess it's because games are expensive and people, don't want to accidentally buy a bad game. So it's like reviews matter a lot to people, and they want to look at reviews or just tons of stuff. And so I feel like there's a lot of games out there that people don't know that they don't know about. And so some of those, I think they would be games that they would like, and yet they don't know about them, and reviewers don't review them.
I think that's a good
just
point, though. It's because like we talk about this all the time, but like games are coming out all the time, like every day, every week. So it's like you can never keep up with all of them. You're always gonna have a blind spot and miss something. Because like even for me, when like people were recommending stuff, it's like I completely forgot about the Shantae games. And I was like, oh yeah, that would have been a good one. So
those are really good.
I'm going to eventually pick that up and try that out.
But yeah, so we were talking about this before the podcast, and so I was just like, "Oh, this is a very exciting, a very exciting topic." And yeah, like Tekken's recent experience. So you guys played co-op?
We played a lot of co-op stuff. Basically, okay. Here's the thing. So pretty much, she doesn't like know what the genres are, or like a lot of the games or franchises and series. So, but I just basically took like the things that I thought she liked, or that I thought she would like, and like that she likes, and tried to like look for games like that. So since she likes Mario Brothers old school 2D style, like 1 and 3 and Super, because it's super funny because she doesn't like the 3D ones like World, or not World, but 64 and Galaxy, which is crazy to me. Probably doesn't like Odyssey because it's 32, but like I guess, basically she just was telling me like because it's simpler and like it's easy and the controls are simple and easy and it's simple to like have fun in the game like that. That's why she likes those games. But then I was like, okay, well, let me stick to like the 2D stuff. And so I showed her a bunch of like old retro stuff and then like stuff that's like new, not new, but like modern that uses that same aesthetic. But I didn't get around to everything, so. Because, like, one of the games she played after she got her PS4 was that she played Rayman Legends, and, like, that was in the folder. I just didn't get a chance to show her, and she said she liked that one, too. So I was like, I was right. I just didn't get a chance to show it to her. And then, let's see. Worms is 2D, so that's, like, why it was there. And I was like, well, it's got really simple mechanics of just, like, shooting the other side and just aiming and shooting. Shovel Knight's in here. I haven't showed it to her yet. Timbo, Bass Elephant, also 2D. Haven't showed it to her yet.
Wait, have you done Castle Crashers?
I downloaded it on my PS3. That and the Scott Pilgrim game. Oh yeah, okay. So basically, I was showing her a bunch of beat 'em ups and like 2D shooters from like way back in the day, and like or thereafter, because I showed her Contra, one of the Contra ones from on Virtual Console. We played that. We played some Gunstar Superheroes. I think she liked it, but it was like kind of hard because when we were selecting difficulty, I was going to put it on easy. And she's like, wait, just put it on normal. I was like, okay, I warned you. And then like we couldn't get through any of the stages or the bosses at the end.
I really like Gunstar. It's pretty hard, actually.
I forgot how hard it
Wait,
was.
Gunstar Heroes?
Yeah,
Or?
Gunstar Heroes.
It's
Oh, yeah,
like
that-
much more
that is-
complicated than you think it would be.
Especially when picking weapons and all this
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's not a beginner-friendly
It's not
game.
like it's not like Contra where you're just sort of running and shooting. Like that has other weapons too, but it doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, I forgot
Whereas,
like, all the
Gunstar
mechanics
is like,
in that game. Like we did the minecart level, and I was like, oh man, this is so cool. But I showed that one to her first because like this is basically like super cool because like there's not very many like stages like this in this genre, and like yeah, that's a whole thing. But that was like a fun thing to do is like show the person a game and then like just talk to them about the game and like why it's awesome or like why it's significant. Like when you're like they have like zero knowledge of it and like no past history, so it's like kind of cool to just have like a whole day of gaming history with Tekken. It was like oh that's very cathartic. And then like Never Alone, also like a modern game like that where it's like 2D and it's co-op. That was pretty cool. And then she got to be the fox, and she really enjoyed that. That's cute. And
What does the fox say?
And that's a little girl. And then stuff happens later on in the story where stuff changes. And then surprisingly, she enjoyed Pac-Man 256 way more than I thought she would. So that was neat. I think it's because there's so many power-ups, and it's just the same thing over and over. But it's like you can eventually get better and better and better, and like slowly you can like level up your power-ups. I hadn't played in a while, but yeah, it was fun times. Puzzle Quest, man. Okay, funny thing happened in Puzzle Quest. So I hadn't played this game before, and then I didn't know how it worked. So we were playing it, and I didn't know that you could like use your like character's ability to like just like straight up attack the other one. And I chose a knight, and she chose a wizard. And because like the wizard's like OP in that game, they could just like spell me and do damage. So like I didn't win in that game, and now I gotta like play it and get my practice in so I can get better and be like, haha, defeat avenged and stuff. Oh, we played Unravel 2, so we didn't play the first one because I didn't know if it had co-op in it, but I knew the second one did. So I showed her that, and she just fell in love with it. It was like, oh, it's so adorable.
It is
like,
pretty adorable, yeah.
Such a cute game, and it's like such a fun game. I hadn't played it before, so that was fun. Like all the mechanics with like the yarn and like the knotting and all the like swinging each other. We had fun with that one. Played some Disney Afternoon Collection because it has the old school side-scrolling Chip and Dale stuff where it's like 2D. I'm not sure if the DuckTales games are 2-player, so I didn't play those, but yeah. But then it's like interesting because like some of the old stuff is like way harder than like the current stuff. Because I showed her like Mega Man, and I was just like, okay, I know you probably like I've heard of Mega Man, but you probably never played it. She's like, yeah, I never played it, and like I was like, okay, so I loaded up the Legacy Collection on PS4 because I have it, and then like I just showed her like a bit of the first game. And like the first stage that we played, she just kept dying. So it is still brutal for people that are like new.
I would say Mega Man is also another one of those that's not very beginner friendly.
They were really hard. Or was it 3 where you could like hold down left on the player 2 controller and then you couldn't die from falling into holes?
I have no idea.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh,
So,
that's the thing. I think it's 3 that has that. And you also jump super high. So it's sort of a cheat.
But yeah, a lot of stuff on Virtual Console too. Like I said, Contra. But then after a certain point, I was like, okay, why do I like keep showing you all these like 2D side-scrolling games? Because you might get sick of them. But then I guess it kind of worked because you didn't get sick of them. Because we also played the Dungeons and Dragons 2D re-release that they put out. That was fun. And then like at some point, I showed her Castlevania Symphony of the Night because she hadn't seen, or she didn't know what, or she only knew of it from the Netflix series. Because I was like, "Have you played or heard of Castlevania?" Because it's also side-scrolling in 2D. And she's like, "Oh, you mean like the Netflix show?" And I was like, "So you never heard of it?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, well, we're going to change that right now." And so I loaded up that, and then she is like actually like very versed in art and drawing and stuff. So like she saw it, she's like, "Oh man, the pixel art in this game is amazing." So I thought that was super cool because that was like the PS1 version and it wasn't the PS4 re-release, and like just to like see how it like holds up like over 20 years later, and it's like still like amazing that someone like would look at it and be like, "Oh, this game's amazing." And she ended up actually buying that on her brother's PS4, so that was pretty cool. So I'm hoping she'll like play through it. But then that's the other thing about like our dynamic when we were playing is like I play for story and she just plays for like gameplay and fun. So it's like she'll just skip ahead in the story or just skip over the story or skip the tutorials. And like doesn't care about any of the exposition and anything. Because even like after we finished Never Alone, because we ended up finishing it, I was like, okay, so how did you enjoy the story? Like about the whole girl and the ice monster and the fox and stuff. And she's like, I don't know. It kind of dragged on a bit there. You kind of just kept doing the same thing over and over towards the end. I was like, what? You didn't like the story? I was like, I just.
I wasn't paying attention to that.
That's like a whole weird thing now. Where it's like, oh, so I'm dating someone that doesn't care about story in games, and I'm all about stories. So it's like,
And she'll love Destiny.
So it's also just like a thing where it's like if there's like a lot of things in our relationship where we're opposites and this is one of them, so it's like just another thing to me. It's like, oh great, like but like of all the things, like why this, so it's like, yeah, it kind of hurts as someone that's like a fan of BioWare and Telltale and like story in games, and like just does that, like see someone you love just like not even care about the story. It's like, this hurts. Oh, we also played Puzzle Fighter, the PS3 era re-release remaster or whatever. She really enjoyed that one with all the power-ups. That was super chaotic but super fun because I'm like, neither of us are really good at it. It's just like a lot of chaos when you're just like dropping blocks, or not blocks, but like the crystals, and like everything is like exploding and stuff's going around. It's super fun times.
So fun.
Um, Tetris Ultimate, that was fun. What else?
Was Tetris Effect wasn't out yet?
It was not out yet. We didn't get a
Uh,
chance to play that. Is that two-player, Tropical?
no,
Ah, that's the other
but
thing.
it's
Is
so
like,
pretty.
it's like there's a bunch of stuff I wanted to show her, but then I didn't ended up show her because it's like single player and she wanted to play co-op and like two-player stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. So that's a whole, well, not a whole bunch of the list, but that's stuff off the list I didn't get to show. Like I didn't get to show her Journey, or Stories, or Rhyme, or
Wait, can
Life
you
is
not
Strange.
couch co-op with Journey?
I don't.
No,
think
you
so.
can't.
Oh.
Now you need to own multiple consoles,
Yeah. Well,
multiples of the same console.
what do you mean multiples at the same
She
time?
probably would have loved the Scarf
Then-
Monster Alien.
You do co-op
Game.
over the internet together.
Well, I have more than one PS4, and she has a PS Plus account now, so that would work.
Yeah.
I should try that. We played the Gauntlet remake. I think she enjoyed that one. I was kind of like worried she'd be not into the whole like. I mean, that one's not very. What's the word here? In depth as far as like all the mechanics.
Yeah.
So it's not
very
like Diablo.
simple.
So maybe one day we'll see. We play. So okay. So here's the thing. Here's another thing about like where we're opposites is like, I'm Team Cap. She's Team Iron Man in the MCU. And so,
Oh, see, so she's smart. I already like her.
Shut up, RPG. So I loaded up Lego Marvel Superheroes not knowing where my save was at, and I put it in I started up a new game at first, but then it was like an unskippable cutscene at the beginning. I was like, this is going to take a while, so we should probably just like load up my old save. And so we did. And then I guess like for some reason Iron Man was running around without his armor on and like had underpants. It was weird. And I was like, I don't know where I was at in the story. I don't know why they did this. But then we got to the next part of the story and like it showed a cutscene. I was like, oh, that's why he was like that and wearing his Mark 1 armor. So that was funny. And then she just like kept saying stuff like, oh, you probably did this to them because you don't like Iron Man. You're all about Steve Rogers and Captain America. And I was like, oh, whoa. Okay, this was like way before that movie in the MCU. Okay, and like just don't take it out of me. So that was funny. What? Oh, and then like actually, it's also funny because like the whole big thing I wanted to do was play some DDR, and like that's the one thing I wanted to do was just like play a bunch of DDR. So like I bought a bunch of like DDR stuff off of eBay and bought some dance pads, and we ended up like not even playing DDR. So it's like still have yet to play DDR. So that being said, I'm glad I finally have a DDR dance partner I can finally play with and not just be all alone by myself in the dark in a room. Oh, also she liked Worms. That was a 2D with explosions that you shoot at each other. I think I already said that. Critter Crunch, because we had played Tetris and then we played Puzzle Quest, and she seemed to like it. And then Critter Crunch is like a weird take on that, but like with cute, cuddly creatures. So that was something I wanted to like just to show her just to see what her reaction would be.
What was the reaction?
She enjoyed it. I
I
think.
just about to say.
There's a lot of weird like vomiting and eating creatures though, but I think overall she did enjoy it. But that's like when I showed her because I was like,
The
okay,
best kind.
this game is like kind of like those games, but it's like kind of weird and Japanesey, and like you'll see it. And then I just had to show it to her and like not explain it. And then it spoke for
Rainbows.
it spoke for itself, and she's like, oh, that's kind of weird and interesting. So yeah, it worked. And I think that might have been everything that I showed her while she was over here. Maybe, probably. Yeah. And it was a fun time.
So, yeah, it seems like. I mean, so she specifically wanted to play co-op stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when she like gave me all these like criteria or like the things about the games that she like, I like made a list and like Tropical said I like proposed it to all our friends on on Facebook. I was like, dudes, I need help. Dudes and ladies, help. And then I came up with like all these like it was cool because I have like a giant list now. It's on like a folder on my PS4 for some of those games, but now I know to focus on just like the co-op and 2D and fun gameplay, not story-driven stuff. No.
Yeah, because it did seem like the games that she liked were all they're sort of like immediate gratification type games.
Yes, she's very impatient. Or not very impatient, but she's an impatient person.
Which probably... So, it could be too... Like, if I had to say, I would say story games don't work because they're too slow.
Yeah, they
Like-
kind of require an investment unless it's like a
Yeah.
really short game. And
And I wonder, like, there are people who don't play games or don't play story games because they like that's not how they think about games. They think about games as being like, oh, it's a thing that I do for fun. And then if it's like story or explanation or like tutorials and stuff, like they sort of lump all that together. Like this is stuff that is getting in the way of the fun, which is like the pushing of the buttons and having stuff happening. I wonder if, yeah. So, like that. Well, so what have you learned? Like, that's what you've learned? You think it's a co-op is the way to go?
Yes.
I think co-op may be just the way to go, only because she's like more. She's not really like a gamer, so if it's something that she's just really being introduced to, I think the whole co-op thing is just one to have Tekken help her kind of like do stuff so she's not like on her own. But then at the same time, it's like a nice way for her to kind of get acquainted with, you know, his hobby, because I'm assuming it's not something that she necessarily was interested in to begin with. But since he is, she wants to be part of that, and in order to do so, I mean, that would require, you know, getting involved in games, but then he now has to find things that would actually be of some interest to her before she can actually start to kind of like branch out, I guess.
Oh yeah,
So-
and it was neat because in the the Rescue Rangers game, since there's that rewind feature, she kept dying, so I'd keep having to like rewind the thing before the game to the state before she died. So that was a neat thing. It was weird to play that game after so long. I was like, man, this takes me back. It still plays the same way.
Interesting.
But yeah, like, she's pretty much right, because she was saying that like she only really ever plays something when like her brother is like, oh, you should check out this game, and then she plays it. But then, it's like like Tropical's asking me like, do you know why she plays the games she plays, or the reasons that she plays the games she plays, or like the games that she likes, and then like she gave me like all these weird reasons for all of them. So there isn't like one reason for any of them. So for like Assassin's Creed, she just like liked riding around on the horse, or the fact that you can't see Altier's face in the entirety of the game. And I was like, wait a minute, I need to go back and play that now to see if you can ever see his face. Because I was like, wait a minute, like, that can't be true, can it? And now I'm like, I have to fact check this.
I don't think you ever see his face. I
No,
think
it's
his
not
face under
fully.
there is actually Desmond's face, but you never see it because that would be too weird.
Yeah, and then like my brother's just because it's like, you know, fun gameplay, just jumping around, doing stuff and things with the plumbers. And then like it was like a super weird story for the Dragon Age thing. So I was like, okay, well, Dragon Age is a story-based game, and you've played through it, and that's probably like at least 12, if not minimum 20 hours. And like I don't know how you didn't just like gravitate towards the story or just like stick to it. And then she's like, well, I was on Tumblr and I kept seeing all these posts about the gay romance in the game, and it got me interested. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you don't really see a lot of that in games now or ever. And I was like, it was just very interesting to me, and I wanted to check it out. And I was like, really? And I was like, and she's like, yeah. And so now I'm like, okay, so should I add like gay elves to the list of things that interest you in games? Because that seems like a very outlier on the board here of stuff that we've got going on. So yeah, I was like, but then I was like, maybe I can make this work if I can just
Find a
somehow-
lot of games with gay elves in them.
I was going to say
Loves.
if I could shoehorn
Love.
if I could shoehorn in the other Bioware games that have gay romance in them too, because you know they're all about that. So yeah, get some Mass Effect in, and then we're good. And it's like, yeah, unless she's all like, yeah, the whole Liara thing. Oh man, that was great, but the story, it's too much, man. Couldn't really keep track. And I was like, yeah, that would happen. And I can't remember what the Zelda thing was, or what the Link thing was, as far as like why she got probably like the gameplay thing too. But yeah, same thing. But then it's funny because oh yeah, like the Critter Crunch thing. It's like another thing I'm looking for now is like when I'm looking at games is like their aesthetic, as far as like are they like cutesy and cuddly, and like someone with that type of interest like it, as opposed to like what I look like or what I'm looking at when I'm looking for something to play. It was a very fun experience and exercise in, will this person like this thing, or will they not like it? Oh yeah, because I showed her Star Fox 64, and then I can't remember what her reaction was to it, but I don't remember what it was, but I don't think she liked it as much as I was hoping she would. Because when I showed her all the Virtual Console games, that was like the first one, or one of the first ones. I was like, okay, this game's a classic. I played a lot as a kid, and it's got a bunch of animals that talk to each other and shoot stuff in space. That's what happens. And I mean, at least she got past the first stage, but I'm not sure if she enjoyed it as much because it wasn't 2D. But then now I'm like, okay, well, if we play the first Star Fox on the Super Nintendo Classic, maybe there's more of a chance because it's in 2D. So I will have to check that theory out and see what happens.
I think like RPG is probably right, which I think should give you hope that eventually you will find a story-based game that, like, it'll be a story that speaks to her somehow.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. Like one of the games I wanted to try first was Kirby's Adventure because I knew it was 2D and it's like super easy to get through. And I was like,
It's Kirby, so you can't go wrong.
Shut up, RPG.
Listen, Kirby's the best. You all shake your faces.
And I was like, that's 2D, but then it's not co-op. So I'm like, okay, well later on when I am having her venture out to do things on her own, I guess I'll put it on the list for that. Once we're through the co-op phase.
Well, you have a Switch, right?
I do.
The Kirby on Switch has co-op.
Oh, okay.
It's like a 4-player game, even.
Oh yeah, it's true.
I forget what it's called. Something Star Friends or something like that. Star Buddies.
I don't think it's called Star Buddies, dear. Gotta go out on a limb on that one.
But yeah, the first time we hung out and played stuff, we played, because she had a Wii U, so we played the Mario Kart on that. We played Smash Brothers on the Wii, not the Wii U version, because she didn't have it. We played, what's the racing game that isn't the things fall down and explode?
Blur?
Yes, that one.
Oh, because you were talking about Split Second was the other one. I was what are you talking about? The other one.
They're always tied together.
So yeah.
Because they came out at like the same time. It's like very awkward timing. It's like, why would you do that? Why?
Yeah, luckily I took inventory on all my stuff. I just got to get some rechargeable batteries for my Wii controllers, and then I can do a more in-depth checking in on the retro games and stuff and see what she likes, or what older stuff she likes, if she likes any of it. Because that was fun, playing old stuff, and like someone that hasn't seen or played it before reacting to it. Especially Castlevania, that was awesome. Cause, like, she's like, we're just playing
like
it, and she's like,
show.
And she's just like, the pixel art, and this looks amazing. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it does. I mean, that's what they say, and I've played it. It does look pretty good, but to see your reaction to that, and the fact that you bought it after the fact, that was pretty cool.
So she likes art stuff.
I think, yeah, graphics is another way that you might try, because, like, Never Alone is not... I don't think that's really an instant gratification game either. But because there's a cute fox thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like, that pulled her through. And then, like, Dragon Age, like, that is not instant gratification at all. And... yeah, like there was a hook there.
Oh yeah, I think I was going to boot up the new Dragon Age Inquisition, because I was like, oh, well, I have the new Dragon Age. I'm not sure if there's any gay elves in it, but let's see what happens.
There's always gay elves. When in doubt.
And then what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I have like some other stuff queued up, like Super Meat Boy, 'cause that's 2D. Even though it's like super hard, it's still like in that vein of like 2D platformy cutiness. So even though it's like super hard, I would just like show her like if the stage that I played, like I'll play the stage and they'll be like, okay, this is the game, and have her try, and then So I have to go through
Did
all
you
my
see?
PSN collection and see what I have.
Did you see like any consistency in the type of art style she kind of gravitated towards for the games, or?
What were you saying, like the cutesy stuff?
Yeah, but I mean, he also said she kind of was like in love with the pixel art from a super
Mhm.
old game. So I mean,
Oh yeah, because I showed her Third Strike because I was like, oh, this game has like really awesome cell art or
Amazing
whatever.
pixel art.
She didn't seem like that impressed, so I don't know. It could be because I was playing it on a PS3, not a PS4. I don't know,
Hmm.
or just because the stages aren't. It seems like the backgrounds aren't as hold up as much in that one though.
wait, do you
I
have
guess it's I guess
Octopath
I guess
Traveler?
I guess it's hard to like focus on it when you're playing. So we're playing against each other, so she probably didn't have time to like
Maybe.
appreciate it. What were you saying, RPG?
So do you have Octopath Traveler?
I do not. The only the only Switch game I have is Floor Kids, which just got announced for PS4. So it's like, even though I got mine for like 250 or whatever, if I would have just held out, I would not have had to buy one this year, but whatever. I mean, they're still not 250 on Black Friday, so it's like I still got a good deal, but I haven't bought any games, and I've kind of been saying I'm holding out for games this Black Friday.
Well,
but
Smash
now
is
I'm
coming
like,
out soon, so you have that.
I
Smash has a
guess.
season pass.
Yeah, dude. That we can talk about that in the news, man. That kind of, I don't know. On principle, it's like I don't want to, but then I'm like, well, at least all the music for the games will be awesome, and I could just listen to it on loop. So there's that. But yeah, Nintendo bent the knee, and now they're all up in the season pass game. That's a sad time.
Well, I mean, I mean, there. Well, I guess we'll talk about it once we get to the news. But yeah, well, I don't think it's that bad. But
So RPG, any recommendations on? Because like after she said the whole like thing about picking Mario, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I should bother with JRPGs with you yet. It's like, do you think there are any that would possibly work? At least in the short term?
I would be the worst person to ask for that then if she's already because I mean a lot of the stuff I play is obscure or Kingdom Hearts, so it's like I don't
I'm just saying
really
from,
know
like,
what
from, like a art style aesthetic, since like perspective. So I'm really sure Chrono Trigger just because it has like the Toriyama awesomeness. So
Mm.
and she likes anime, so
I would I mean
or Dragon Quest.
you could probably avoid RPGs for now, but I mean
Dragon Age. It's bugging me. I'm like, how is this a thing? I mean,
but only
Killer
because
Ants,
of the
like,
elves. That's
Yeah.
why like, it's different. What could you do? I mean, if she's looking for romance and gay loves, I mean, she has the whole genre, of them.
How much does she like anime? Like, what are we talking here?
how much? As much as I do, I guess.
Are you sure?
How much do you like anime?
I don't know how to answer that tropical. I mean, watches
Oh, we have
on
to
streaming.
gauge.
She watches
we have
on
to
streaming
gauge
more
her
than I
love.
do.
You watch this on streaming more than you do?
Yep.
Mm,
Because, like, man, I don't know about gameplay wise, but like Ni no Kuni got lots of people just for what it looked like.
Oh, I think I
oh
have
yeah,
that game,
that's
actually.
true.
Oh
But
yeah, see that's the thing tropical is like after she like did that thing with Symphony of the Night, I was like making mental notes of like I want to see what happens if I share Jet Grand Radio, and she's like, oh man, this looks awesome. So I was like thinking space in my brain for like stuff that has like cool aesthetics that is
Mhm.
Japanesey.
Hmm. Man, I'm trying to think of things that aren't RPGs, but most of the games I've played are RPGs. So it's like, just trying, because like the only thing I've like, if it's not that, like most of the stuff I would be playing would be like a party game of some sort or something along those lines. So I don't, I mean, unless you've played Mario Party or Mario Kart,
We
but
did play Mario Kart. That was fun.
hmm. Hmm.
Actually, even I was like, as I was like going through like inventory and all my controllers and crap to see if I had like enough. And I was like, oh, I didn't know I had 2 platinum GameCube controllers. We can play Mario Kart, yay! And we did play the first time she hung out, so she does like that game. So that's a nice fail-safe. Mario Kart. Thanks, Nintendo. Thanks.
Now, do you know, does she like the game or does she like playing with you?
Mario Kart?
Yeah.
I think both. Well, I mean, I think she likes the game. She had like owned it before we met, and then playing with me, yeah, because
But would it be something you'd think that she just like every once in a while is like, maybe not now, but back in the day was just like, oh, I want to play games and would choose like Mario Kart.
I did. That's a good point, Chapter, because like she did say she really liked DDR, and we didn't even play it, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because I wanted to try Double Dash just to see what would happen if we played.
That's the thing I was talking about with like why she plays games. Like some people are like social drinkers, but with games. Like they like the games because they're playing them.
There's people with them.
Other people.
Yeah.
And so they remember, like, when they say that they like the game, they're not saying they like the game, like mechanics, like, oh yeah, this mechanic is really cool, or like, like what reviewers talk about. They're saying the experiences that I had while playing this game were fun, so I like this game.
I think that's what it is.
I have happy memories with it.
Because a lot of the stuff that she does like is playing with other people and not just single player stuff. Besides the elf thing.
I mean,
I'm like totally gonna like make a YouTube video with her and be like, okay, so Dragon Age.
Hello, yaoi is never hurt anybody.
Well, she actually does read yaoi. She likes yaoi, so she's a yaoi.
Well, clearly we've already established this. I mean,
oh, so reverse harem games?
Is that a thing?
There are.
Yes.
Well, yeah, reverse harem is one girl, a bunch of guys, right?
No, not. She doesn't want that. She if she's like yaoi, then she likes the guy on guy stuff.
Well, like that seems to enter a lot of those reverse harem games, though.
Does it?
I feel like it does. I mean, I haven't played
the
very
reverse
many.
harem games are the Move Loves. We've already recommended that. We've already recommended that.
I don't know if it's right. Like, I'm still trying to figure out the situation here. Like, what kind of gamer or what kind of burgeoning gamer are we dealing with?
Well, at the moment, like I said, I think it's more just to spend time with him kind of situation. So, I mean, anything where they can do that is probably going to be fine as long as it's something that happens in rapid, I guess, chunks.
But even in that case, like, there are some people who are totally fine with being like a spectator for hours on end.
Oh, she doesn't like watching, because when I was playing and trying to like share stuff on Paper Mario, she's like, yeah, this is getting kind of boring, just watch you play, so put in something that's cool.
Everyone isn't like you, Tropical.
I'm not one of those people. I mean, I'm fine watching other people play now, but before, like, because to me, it helps to think back to like early stages, like why did I like certain things? And I remember, for me, like story in games became really significant to me when I got the PS2 and bought a bunch of PS1 games, and they were Metal Gear Solid and Parasite Eve and the third one that I can't remember right now. And it was just like
the other one
that really opened my eyes. It was just like, holy crap. Final Fantasy type stories are one thing, but like Metal Gear story was insane for a game.
So then you would love Kingdom Hearts.
The Disney thing is probably more why that happened, but yeah, it was just like, I had no idea that games could have those types of stories where it wasn't sort of fantasy and save the world, save the princess type stuff. It was just like, they're talking about really deep sounding stuff in Metal Gear Solid.
Nuclear disarmament.
It was like, this is crazy. This is blowing my mind. And then just from there, it was just like every game. It's like, I didn't seek out games with stories. It was just like I would notice the stories in the games that I bought more.
Well, I mean, I feel like some things are just happy accidents, because I mean that's kind of how I stumbled onto RPGs. So it's not like something I was like specifically looking for. It was just like,
but if you have like a game Sherpa, like
which
Tekken,
she does,
right?
So
like
kind of
Tekken, in some ways, I don't think it's unethical. Like you can sort of
It's
exert or like mold people into certain kinds of gamers. Not everyone probably, but you know, a little bit. So you can like instead of happening random chance happy accidents like it happened with us through introduction, you can like I don't think necessarily that she's just like not interested in story in games.
It's just not the right story
Yeah,
yet.
it's like it's
Oh.
possible that she hasn't seen the story that makes her think, "Wow, wow." Like I think anime is something like that. You know, most people who grew up in America before anime, you know, cartoons were a certain type of thing. You know, we didn't really think of them in that way. But then once you get into anime, when you find that anime that like has that
Yeah.
story that speaks to you, suddenly you're like, holy crap, like they're cartoons, but also totally not cartoons that I can no longer tolerate people calling them cartoons. They must be called anime.
They must be called anime. Oh dear. I thankfully have not gotten to that level, but I do enjoy anime though. So
Yeah, tropical, because like they did get to a point where like I didn't want to I didn't want to keep just playing like 2D beat 'em up stuff. So like I didn't put in Double Dragon Neon or Zombie Vikings or just keep doing like 2D shoot 'em ups, 2D beat 'em ups. So we did play like the Simpsons game that was 2D. We got like a decent way through it. So I didn't get to play X-Men unfortunately because I showed her that one first, but whatever. So
how is she with like puzzles and like strategy stuff?
I don't know about strategy, but I like because like before I asked her about the Tetris thing since I had been playing and I wanted to play multiplayer, and then she seemed to like playing it, but then I'm not. I think that's just because it's like we were playing together, and then like I know she did like puzzle fighter. 'Cause she kept like asking for a specific mode with like a bunch of the power ups turned on and like chaos all over the place.
Oh, because I'm trying to think. There's like, wait, have you done any? Wait, do they have shoot 'em ups that have like co-op?
I want to try Ikaruga next time because I had R-Type on my virtual console, but effing my batteries on my Wiimotes were dying, so because they are defective and don't hold a charge anymore, so I need to buy new ones.
Because that would actually, because that seems like something that she might actually like quite a bit.
Yeah, because I was hoping to like show some of those, but then I just had like Contra, and then I tried to show R-Type 3, which I guess it's a 2-player, but I guess it's like one person at a time and not 2 people at the same time, so I want to like show Ikaruga, even though it's like way more advanced than like anything else, but I'm not sure if there's anything that's like old school that's like that, that's 2 people at the same time on a 2D shooter, but I guess I'll go back and check my Sega Genesis Ultimate Collection or something to see if there's anything on that.
Gradius 5 has simultaneously two player.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure if I start off with Ikaruga, like everything else will just like look like garbage, which is why I wanted to like not show her Castlevania Symphony of the Night too soon, is because like everything else might just look like garbage after this. So.
She's like, why did you not show me this the first time?
Because I showed her that, and I showed her like the PS1 version that's on the PSN store or PS1 Classics or whatever, and I can't remember what it's called, like Chronicles or whatever, but it ain't Symphony of the Night. So yeah, I was like, this is why I didn't show you this first, because look at this.
Like
I mean, yes, it plays the
Rondo
same.
of Blood and the other one. Chronicles X, I think it's called.
It's like this ain't no Alucard going through the castle, slicing stuff off and looking awesome. Because I started up the game from like the beginning and showed her, and then I loaded up the save later on. She's like, "Oh, this looks amazing!" And then I loaded up my save like 200% in or something with all the power ups and like all the cool stuff you could do, like turn into mist and like a wolf and a bat and all that cool stuff. And she's like, "Oh man!" So that was cool.
Like in the Netflix show.
He does turn into a wolf.
He does, and I was like, I mean, this seems unnecessary because I mean, why didn't he just continue fighting how he was? But it is cool. Because mind you, I've never actually played any of the Castlevania games either. So I mean, if
Wow, we found
I would be in the same
RPGs,
boat as her,
Red
would be like, oh,
Redemption,
like the.
slash all the other games Tropical didn't play for a long time.
Well, I haven't played a lot of those Metrovania types games, so you can't. So you're gonna be very, very angry then, because I
think what's really neat about the Castlevania series is that it's so much like the story in the games. They even had Leon from the PS2 game. Was that his name? Leon Belmont?
No
The
idea.
Portrait? Wait, have you seen it?
No, I think that
Second?
I
was.
haven't seen the second season.
Okay.
Hey, I've
The
been
Portrait
busy
on the
hanging out with my
Wall is the
waifu
guy
playing games. I'm
from
sorry.
second season.
You could have watched it with her, genius.
Psh, not as good as playing it.
They're busy playing games. You only have time to do one. That's why you only watch TV. Wait, I have time to do both. Oh wait, I don't work.
Well, I mean,
I watched it and played games. Um, hmm.
But yeah,
I don't think
now
this-
I want to pick up a NES and SNES Classic just to like go through all the games and be like, okay, let's see what we got here. Let's co-op and two-player stuff from the olden times.
Oh, the NES Classic, it's hard to get a second controller.
I say that tropical, but there are a bunch of them at my store, so I know I'm good.
What? I need one.
look up.
Oh, maybe I should look online then. Yeah, I haven't been able to find a second controller. I have two for the SNES, but the NES I only have one.
Doesn't it come with two?
Nope.
What?
The SNES comes with two.
Oh, okay. That's what I was saying.
That's why I have two.
I just want to share Chrono Trigger because I'm like, hopefully she doesn't not like this. I mean, 'cause I'll probably wait on all the
She's not gonna like
JRPGs.
Chrono Trigger.
That one is like,
It's a classic.
yeah, it depends on. Well, so it seems like there's.
Oh, and it was
graphics.
it was really cute because every time we would like either name our characters or name our team, she kept putting DT for Dream Team, and I was like, oh, we are a Dream Team. Hmm.
Oh,
But yeah, like I think graphics are something that can draw her into certain games, and then yeah, well, story. You wait and see. So Chrono Trigger, I think
you might want to wait on.
graphically it still looks really good. I don't know if it'll be enough.
That also takes Xenosuck off the
because,
table.
Yeah, it has like a lot of story.
Yep.
Both
Yeah.
of those games.
Yeah, I downloaded some of like the better looking games like Shadow of the Colossus PS4 remake just to like have some really looking PS4 games in case it came to that, but it didn't come to that. So just to be like, look how amazing this looks.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Stabbing robot dinosaur. Oh, but there's no co-op in that. She would have to just watch you play. So I don't know how well that would work. Although I don't know. I mean, she might like watching Horizon,
Or you could watch her play.
or you can watch her. That's true. And then just give her like pointers and tips if she needs some kind of thing.
Yeah,
But she'll-
Tekken. Do you like watching people play?
It doesn't bother
Oh,
me.
this sounds a lot creepier.
Doesn't
And
matter to you.
you say it like
It's only
this.
creepy when RPG says it, because he doesn't like people watching him.
I
Play.
do not.
Like it sounds really creepy when you say I don't like it. Like for some reason, when it's positive, like it just sounds like a normal thing because tons of people watch other people play now.
Yeah, that's what
But when you say
streaming
you
are.
don't like
Yeah.
it, it's like, wait, why? Should I not be showing other people my gameplay?
I just don't like people watching me do a lot of things. It's just weird.
My experience, like, so I got PS2 in college, and then there were several years after that where I spent a lot of time with like spectators. Because I had all the games and the systems, and people would come over, and then they didn't really want to play them, but they wanted to see them. I guess thinking about it, it was really strange. It like flies in the face of what you would expect. It's like, oh, aren't all the game nerds like they have no friends and they don't know any girls? And I was like, every weekend I would have like 4 girls over in the room and we'd just be like watching whatever game I got. I don't know if this was heading anywhere. I just like to listen to the stories and then be like, oh, that's interesting. I think the
How does
buying
it
of
work
the Symphony
for?
of Night right after, like, that's really interesting.
How does it work for you and your wife actually? Does because I mean you are a gamer, I'm assuming
Mm.
by comparison, but does she like watch you more than she plays
So
anything? Or-
yeah, it's different now. It really depends on the game. So back then, she was one of the people who would come over on the weekends, and at the time, like she watched. So there was like three of them usually, and two of them were like one of them was a lot better, but she mostly played RPGs. So like she was the one who showed me the Tales series. Like I had never seen those games before, and then
Oh,
another one like she really liked games, but she wasn't very good at them. And so like there was there was like oh man, it was so cool. Like in the beginning, we were playing Mario Sunshine, and she was just like, they were all so bad at it. But then over the course of like a year and a half, it's like, wow, like they're really improving. It was really neat to see. But yeah, so back then she played. My wife played. She told me that she played Diablo 2 a lot. She liked I forget how she described it, but it was something like, "Oh, it's like a really nice game to like blow off steam, essentially." And it's like, to me, when I heard that, like that's sort of that feels weird to me because the game is like you play with a mouse, like you're clicking. But then I guess like what's
maybe she
happening?
clicks angrily.
Well, later what I realized is like because I always played the magic casters in Diablo, or in Diablo 2, and so like my mouse clicks did not really translate to sort of like visceral type actions. Whereas if you
Oh,
played, Barbarian or something like that, then it's like, oh, you're like hitting things. Whereas
you're
Magic
hitting
is
them.
just like,
Yeah.
I throw this, magic thing at you, and then it's like indirectly you died from my hand. Um, but yeah, mostly she was a spectator back in the day, and then more recently, she watches less of what I play now. I think I play a lot more. I don't know. I guess like games that she's just not interested in. Uh, Something that always comes back into my mind is Uncharted 2. Amazing game, right?
Hmm.
And there's lots of stories of people saying like, "Oh yeah, I was playing," and then my wife or my girlfriend would just like watch it like a movie. And in my experience, though, my wife was like, "This game is kind of boring." And when you think about it, it's like it kind of is. Like the story sections are really awesome and stuff, but then a lot of the gameplay parts are longer than they would be if it was an actual movie. That's why action sequences aren't 20, 30 minutes long. Like, you get bored of them. And yeah, there's a lot of climbing and shooting stuff in between the story sections, which are what are interesting. So, yeah, these days, well, so she's pretty into Tetris Effect right now because it just like it's so
Looks
good.
pretty.
It's beautiful, and the flow of it is so interesting because it's not like it's just faster and faster and faster. It's like goes with the music. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. But yeah, a lot of stuff. Like recently, she said she wanted to watch Horizon Zero Dawn because of how pretty it is. But
Also,
things
glad you
like
get to stab robot dinosaurs in the
but things like Telltale's The Walking Dead, The Last of Us, just like a lot of that stuff, she's not really interested in anymore.
Oh wow! I was just thinking in my brain about like that comment I made about how Nintendo games are like The Simpsons and like everybody else is like The Sopranos. It's like I think that might be the conundrum I will face. Is like, I mean, yeah, I can go and play the Simpson games, but it's like it's all about that visceral action and just like the cold, cold cuts on the or like the faded blacks on the what are they called? The cold opens and cold closes. Yeah, when like stuff happens and stuff goes down. Stuff goes down. Yeah. So kind of need that in my life. Sorry, it's just so good. You know, Life is Strange changed me, or it did things to me, I should say.
Life is Strange.
I just
That
really
would
wanted to try it
be.
because it was it's like the whole like female protagonists and just dialogue. It's not really a lot of gamey stuff. But then I'm not so sure if she would like a non-gamey game. So we'll see.
Yeah, because that would be odd. Because then she really would just be kind of watching. So no, unless you like have her like making any of the major decisions, kind of thing.
So I guess it's a good thing I got a Switch after all. Yay!
So many changes. Furniture. Switch is useful now.
Although it probably could have been useful before. He just didn't buy any games for her. I mean.
Switch is more useful now.
So that's more accurate.
Yes. Interesting.
Because I mean, Nintendo has a lot of games that would like kind of work for that specific thing. Actually,
Oh, RPG. I also want to know like a weird side note. I asked her about I found that old list of like all the like triangle cut or square cut pizza thingy, like all the weird questions like that, like zombies or vampires or whatever stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then like when I came to Pokemon or Digimon, she said Digimon. So
oh gosh, she's a keeper.
She's on your side.
She's a
Unfortunately.
keeper. What do you mean? Unfortunately, Digimon is the shiznak, man. You watch your mouth.
There's
Pokemon
only
will
one
never
right
re-
answer to that question, and that's
Listen,
not the right one.
Pokemon will never reach the level of Digimon because it's the same crap over and over again. With Digimon, they actually went through a character development and stories and, making things interesting. Meanwhile, Ash is doing the same thing he has been doing for the past 40,000 seasons, and nothing has changed. So, STFU, bruh.
Well, that's because
I think he's taller. I think his hat is a different color.
He has a different hat now, yes. That is the extent of his changes.
Character development.
like I said, Simpsons versus Sopranos. I can't help it. I'm on the Simpsons on that one.
Gosh.
Oh, that's the other thing. Is like, the characters don't age or die, and they're just still, and whatever. Whereas Clementine, we'll never know, but something was going to happen either way. She probably would have died. Tentacles, right?
Oh, no, she was definitely going to die.
I don't know, since it was the final season, if they would do that, because it's too obvious.
They were gonna. Well, that's
The Walking
exactly why
Dead
they were
is
gonna do it.
killing like popular characters is effective because it's surprising. But once you do it too much, then it's like, well, it's not surprising anymore.
Yeah, Tentacle, but like, literally
I think
everybody
that's-
else
I think
died.
that's kind of the point,
There was
though.
nobody else left. And then you have the ending where it's like, AJ keeps her hat, and he's like, now I can tell your story, Clem, or something. I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure that was kind of the point, though, because the whole point was for like people dying and Walking Dead. Like, yeah, it's supposed to be shocking at first, but then eventually it's supposed to be one of those things. It's like, well, it is a zombie apocalypse, so people are gonna die. So this is nothing that we should be surprised about. It's gonna happen to everybody eventually, because you can only do so much with so many resources before it's like, well, you're screwed.
Like they say
Whoa,
in the
but
Telltale
that's,
games,
like-
the same thing that happens to everybody else. Oh.
But that's the main conflict. Like it's like between the hopelessness of everything and then like choosing to go on. I don't know. We we haven't played the games in quite a while.
I couldn't play the last episode. It was too soon, and it was just not right. It's like, how can I play the last episode if I know it's not gonna end anytime soon, or I'm not gonna get a resolution on this. I can't play episode 2. No, I must boycott. I'll never know what happens after episode 1. I mean, maybe eventually. I guess we'll see. But until then, back to waiting. Pouring out for Big B Wolf, because man, were we on the hook on that one, and now we're never gonna know.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true.
Is that Dream Daddy game one of those reverse harem games?
The Dream Daddy game, I think, actually.
I think you're a daddy dating.
I think
other
you're a
daddies.
daddy.
Oh, well, that
Yeah,
would-
it's so actually what working her. I'm about to say that actually. I was like, actually, that might work.
Man, my game recommendations are gonna get so weird.
No, they're not.
I love it.
Because they were never good. Like, do you use the just for you section of the PlayStation Store?
No.
Anyone? No one.
It's broken every time.
I went in and looked at it today. I was like, oh, you played Tetris Effect. You might like Battlefield 5.
Call of Duty.
Battlefield
Yeah, I
5
know, it's like-
Deluxe Edition. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's like, what?
Oh yeah, she said something about Assassin's Creed Odyssey because she saw a bunch of like videos of like the main protagonist lady just like cheating or not cheating.
Seducing other
Yeah,
ladies.
seducing other ladies. I was like, that's the
Yeah,
opposite of
but
what
say-
you said about the other game, but I'll take it. Whatever.
She's like really into this whole gay romance thing, isn't she?
I think that's when she told me
To
that, she
the
said,
internet!
She said like the reason was like it's because it's not another game. So like I wrote down somewhere of like zany games or something. So like I want to see what happens when I show her Katamari because it's
Well,
just
I mean-
effing weird. And also I
I had-
showed her the Critter Crunch game because it's effing weird.
I had a roommate, and she seemed to be really into like games that had really beautiful cars. So like Gran Turismo, she would always want, and then like demon boobs. And at the
Aw,
time, like
Lisa.
I was just like, okay. So it was like Dante's Inferno and like God of War. Just like
It's oddly, it's an oddly specific thing to be into, but it's cool.
she actually plays it, like the game she actually plays is Animal Crossing.
Oh dear.
That's a
She
shame.
has
Oh,
Gran
Animal
Turismo,
Crossing
but she
games.
doesn't play it. It's just like, I know that there are beautiful cars in there.
Yeah, she was telling me that, like I said about the whole like Assassin's Creed when she rides around on a horse, it's like when she plays GTA, she'll just drive around and like just drive around, and that's it.
Wait, aren't there like midnight clubs or Need for Speeds that you do that in?
Well, she likes driving games in general too, so. But
Oh.
she just doesn't play them for like long time, or long periods of time, since she would get bored with it.
Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, my game collection is way too weird to work for her taste, so.
Yeah, I wanted to show her Catherine because it has like weird story stuff, but then the game part is like I'm like I don't know, so I'm like
Oh,
need to
well, that's
play it
kind of-
first, so I can.
That's kind of puzzly though. She might. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, but that one has. Well, that one has like a competitive mode. It's not like co-op, but you guys could play it together.
Yeah.
But
Do you
yeah,
have to unlock it, or is it just open from the beginning?
that's actually.
I don't remember.
because I never actually played the
Yeah.
multiplayer portion. I only went through the story because I was like, I want to see how messed up my relationship is gonna get. And, yeah. I ended up
man, I wanna
alone.
play that game again.
So, well, the full body's coming out next year, so I will definitely be getting that. So that's
Now
gonna-
there are 3 Catherines.
one of them spells her name with a Q because Japan.
They couldn't think of any other ones.
They're like, well, we ran out of ways to spell Catherine, so at this point,
Here they would just replace an I with a Y.
I'm just about to say, I was like, why didn't they just? I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine, guys. Do what you got to do. Or they could did like a CH or a KH or something. I mean, I don't know, but they
Or
they
if
went,
it was like a techie girl, they would replace the cat with a cat emoji.
oh yeah. Oh, they just call this one Ren, so I guess that's to
Yeah.
keep it not confusing with having 3 Catherine. And it's like, well, I mean, I don't know which one you're referring to, but it's fine. It's all fine, guys. It's all fine.
Oh, man.
Trying to think. Have I played any games that would work for that? I don't own any co-op games anymore, though.
See, I also think like Persona 5 might be something just because of like how it looks.
It's very stylish.
It's not that it's pretty, it's just yeah, it's like super stylish.
But the problem is she wouldn't be playing it unless he's just watching her play it, because, I mean...
Well, so it feels like in my mind my goal here is to get her into game stories as well.
Persona 5's too long for that. She needs something that's like...
But then, so there's the case of Dragon Age,
It was
which
all
is
about the
not a
romance
short
tentacle. It was
game,
all about
right?
the romance.
It was all about the romance, right?
Yep.
But then, so
just need
there's
to
like,
find a game that can hook her with the romance from the get-go.
well, I mean, not necessarily. Like the romance part, yes, for that particular case, but it's just like, you know, one thing seems to be able to pull her through even like longer games, and you know, it's a story-based game also, and it's just like two things that she's not. It doesn't seem like she's particularly interested in, and yet she made it through because of this one thing. And like Symphony of the Night is not a short game either.
It's not. I should have time on my
Right.
save file. So I was
But then
surprised
it's
that she
just
bought
like,
it.
you know, it looks really cool, yeah, and she bought it, so she's interested in. Maybe she doesn't know that it's like super long. But
Oh no!
you
So
know,
I showed her my save file time when I was loading it up, and she's like, "Oh,
Okay.
some of them show how long you've been playing." I was like, "Yeah, good thing Disney doesn't, because that would be embarrassing."
really funny. But yeah, so it's like she is open to these like longer games. It seems.
She just needs something to get her
Yeah.
through it is all.
Yeah.
Wait, have you tried one of the Final Fantasies?
No,
That
because after her
Was-
reaction to Paper Mario, I was like, "Oh, wait on JRPGs."
Well, like Paper Mario, like did you start at the beginning?
Yeah.
The beginning is just like they talk a lot and there's some funny stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, Paper Mario isn't really...
But she likes Mario RPG.
I don't think it's like gripping. You know, people
Yeah,
don't like
it's
Mario
not-
because of his character.
Yeah, but that's not really like a good gauge on being like, oh yeah, she doesn't like... It's like, no, Paper Mario just doesn't have that kind of story to be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I want to play through this for the story. 90% of the times when I play through the Mario RPGs is just because they're fun to play, not because the story had me going. Because I mean, most of the time it's just Peach getting kidnapped again in some way, shape, or form. So
Yeah, you just rescue her in a different manner.
yeah, so it wasn't like, oh yeah, this is definitely the way to go, guys. And it's like, no, that is not why I play Paper Mario.
I don't think even like Super Mario RPG, like people didn't play that for the story. They played it because it was like a fun twist on the other RPGs of the time, and it had Mario.
And I was saying it just happened to have Mario as
Yeah.
well.
Well, I guess I'll be reporting back with progress reports every now and then. On how this is going.
I'm excited.
You know, I wouldn't say it's something like. I think for the most part, you should just play and have fun, because it seems like, and that should be really easy. We are people of large game libraries, and many of those
It's
games
true.
have co-op, so it's just like that should be simple. But then, yeah, as far as like, is
'Cause
she
it's kind of-
possibly someone who would be interested in game story? She just hasn't seen it yet. You know, that's where it's like, oh, you can get to know her more and more, and like see if that is a possibility.
Yeah, because it's kind of weird because she's basically a newborn when you think about it. And
Really, she has more gaming history than.
So she's a toddler. I mean,
Like,
either way, she's still a gaming
tried to
child.
get-
So I mean, it's like
Perhaps for like the new world of games, the current world of games, she is like from the time of gaming's like infancy, essentially. A simpler time. of immediate gratification.
The best kind of gratification.
Cool. Well, I look forward to progress reports then. I think it will be fun.
Do you? Do you think it'll be fun?
Yes. This is my thing. Yeah, that's why. Oh yeah, so you didn't try VR at all, right?
Nope.
This time? No.
No VR and no DDR, because I was like, oh, dang it, I did all this stuff for DDR and I didn't get to play any of it.
Because you
And then,
said
like, it was
she
funny,
wasn't.
like, after the fact, too, I was, like, looking at my VR headset, like, sitting here in front of me, like, dang it, I didn't even try VR. It's like, missed opportunity.
Because you said she wasn't impressed, like she had tried it before.
Well, but she
Was
didn't
impressed?
play anything cool, though. It's like she played Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, so she didn't get to play, like, something that
Oh,
was,
that's
like,
right.
really
That's right.
interesting looking or something. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, fix that, Resident Evil 7. And she likes scary movies, so I'm thinking that'll be the...
Have you tried Until Dawn?
No, I have not. It's in the waifu folder, though.
It's the waifu.
Yeah, I made a folder on my PS4 called Waifu where I put all the games I want her to try, or that I think she'd like.
Oh man, horror in VR though is something else. Like I watched The Thing on Hulu, and it's like I feel like there was a time in my life when I would have thought this was like super scary, and I wouldn't have been able to get it out of my brain. But watching it now is just like, man, like these people thought of really crazy monster designs for this movie.
Are you talking about the John Carpenter one from the 80s?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
I was
it's
going
classic.
to say, which one were you referring to?
Is there a new one?
Yeah.
There's a more
Oh my
recent
gosh.
one with what's her face? The girl that plays Ramona Flowers. That one. Her
Really?
name.
It's The Thing?
It's The Thing. Yes.
Wow.
Although,
Look that
from
up.
my understanding, it's like a prequel. I forgot how it works because it's not like a remake. So, but yeah, it's more a recent one or more recent, I should say.
Yeah, it was like I had none of that fear, but which I had felt so recently trying to play Until Dawn Rush of Blood in VR. And like I can't even imagine what Resident Evil 7 is like in VR. I have it. I have not been able
I
to get
know.
through the
I
tutorial.
keep hearing things and I'm like, man, I gotta play this game.
And I was like, I don't know if I can. If I can't get through the tutorial, I mean, of course, like, there's no way I'm gonna play this game. Maybe I'm gonna, have one of those days where I'm like, let's do it. I'm not afraid of anything.
And he never slept again.
But yeah, I can't even imagine what the actual game is like. The tutorial like puts you in a scary room, and it's just like teaching you how to move. And I'm like, I know this is the tutorial, and I'm pretty sure nothing will happen, but that's when they make things
That's how
happen.
they get you.
So I was like, I got to a point in the tutorial, I was like, no, I can't go further. I'm afraid something will happen.
Yeah, I saw this trailer for a game on PlayStation's YouTube channel called Nippon Marathon, and then I put on her Facebook that this is going
Oh my
straight to the
God.
top of the games I want you to try list.
I want to play that game so much.
Since it's a zany, weird co-op multiplayer
Looks
game.
crazy. It's not co-op. It's competitive.
Oh.
You're running this race, and the race is insane,
Or just,
and everything is insane.
Oh, that was another thing, dude, that happened was, like, with, like, the modern games, like, not having split screen or local multiplayer. It's like, some
Mhm.
games like that had, like, multiplayer, and then I would load them up and be like, okay, how would I play this multiplayer? And then I'm like, oh, is this online-only multiplayer? Dang it.
Oh, you know what might be fun? A
what?
Way Out.
I was thinking that too, Tropical, actually. I was like, I need to buy that now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I think like, I mean, I think you want to play it, right?
Yep.
And you need someone to play it with, and then then she'll be like, oh yeah, let's do it. and that's a story game, sort of.
She'll fall for the trap, and
Yep.
then you'll be able to play a game you wanted to play.
That game. I haven't played it yet either. Co-op only. A co-op only game. Wow, I feel like there's another game like that I wanted to play, but I couldn't. What was it? It'll come to me later.
Devil Tower.
All right. Let's do some news then. Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
I love news.
Because we can talk about this forever. I mean, not really. Until we get more data
For science.
for science. What was the news? Well, I knew. So BlizzCon was in
man.
the interim.
Oh man.
There was a huge blow up over Diablo Immortal, the newly announced mobile Diablo game. Because apparently a lot of fans felt that Blizzard had teased a lot of Diablo big announcements, and then when that turned into a mobile game, they were like quite upset, I guess.
Upset doesn't begin to describe it.
I didn't actually watch any of that stuff, apparently, but I guess it was BlizzCon, so they were there, so they were able to vent directly to the faces of the people who were announcing this thing.
And that went about as well as one would expect, probably.
It's pretty much what you would expect from the gamer community, certain portions of the gamer community. So, yeah, it was nuts. Or so I've heard. I actually didn't follow it that closely. I saw the news and I was like, yeah, I think I can guess how this is going to go. And that was it. I didn't really follow it. We learned the lineup for the PlayStation Classic. 20 games. Some good ones, which they had basically already revealed, so like Tekken 3, Final Fantasy 7, Metal Gear Solid. What else is good on there? I like Battle Arena Toshinden, but most people would probably say, well, you got Tekken 3. Like, why would you even want that one? And then there's lots of, like, confusing ones, like Rainbow Six and, is it Intelligence?
Oh, yeah, the IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I did enjoy that game. I mean,
haven't
I
played
don't
it
know why it's on
before.
the classic. But
Yeah. Mostly I think mostly people were disappointed. Like, people wanted sort of like a greatest hits 20 game lineup. Because from what they showed off initially, it seemed like, oh my gosh, like, this is going to be insane. They got Metal Gear Solid? Like, how? Konami doesn't seem to be in that type of mood. But there it is. And then, Final Fantasy 7 is like, that's a huge thing to be on there. But then when they started announcing the rest of them, it's like, where's Tomb Raider? And you have Twisted Metal, but arguably the second one is better. And like Resident Evil Director's Cut is like, yeah, it's good, but arguably Resident Evil 2 is the better. And there's just like lots of things like that.
it's like, why didn't you do, Also, 20 game seems kind of small amount, too.
Well, so my point of view when I saw it, I was like, this seems like a good lineup to me. Like, there's I like that it's not the games you would expect, because the thing is, compared to the SNES and the NES, like the PlayStation is not that old, and so a lot of those games, not only are they like not that old, but also you can get them on modern hardware, or like mostly modern hardware, like PS3.
Yeah. Play PS4.
Can you get every single game that's on the the PlayStation Classic on PS. Maybe not Rainbow Six.
I have Rainbow Six on PS1.
Oh, or do you have it on PS3? As like a PS1 Classic?
Ew, no. Why would I buy that?
Okay, yeah. See, like, it feels like you can get all of those games still.
I mean,
So
yeah, for the most part,
that's-
except for maybe Jumping Flash 2 or whatever. That one
that's
seems
on the
pretty rare.
that's on the PSN store.
Oh, never mind.
I also still own my PS1 games, so I mean,
Yeah, me too. It's like a lot of those games I already own, so it's like I don't feel like I need to buy that thing. And like the ones I don't, I'm like, I don't want to spend money, $100 for those. So pass. Cool Borders 2, and other stuff that's not awesome because
Cool
I only have the
Borders
good stuff.
2.
Sorry.
Well, I'm interested in like oddities, and that's why I thought it's like this lineup seems fine to me. Like,
Or you can even like
I'm
like
glad
Tropical
that
said,
it's
you can
not.
go to the PSN store for PS3 and like get all the classic
Yeah.
ones, and then like you'll be basically almost all of them, and like the ones you're not missing, you won't miss. Trust me, they are not. They may be on the air quote classic version, but they are not classics. They're not legendary. They're not the legendary games we're talking about, like that haven't died over time, like Tomb Raider and Tekken and Twisted Metal, and have like survived decades of game industry, and like have not gone down with the ship.
although a lot of those have gotten new life in the current generations and stuff. So, because we've had new Twisted Metals and Tomb Raiders and
Yeah,
all that
like-
stuff. So,
Crash.
That's what I was saying. Resident Evil and like Tomb Raider and all that stuff is like they've survived like over 20 years of like being in games and franchises and series. That makes them legendary, according to Aimless podcast.
So yes,
and we're right.
PlayStation Classic seems like mostly negative as far as the lineup. Hardware, everyone seems to really like, except that it doesn't come with DualShocks. It comes with the original PlayStation controllers. Yeah, I don't know. I still think it's pretty good, but most people do not. But that is me. What did you expect?
It's true. What did you expect? It's tropical.
And then they had the last Nintendo Direct for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate coming out December 3rd or December 5th. I actually can't remember.
It's secretly a Kirby game. We all didn't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's secretly Infinity War, and Kirby was the only one who survived.
What did it cost? Everything.
Man, that cutscene they showed was so cool. But yeah, so they revealed that to cram more characters into the game, they decided to do a spirit system. So like there was that gem system in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. It's kind of like that, except instead of gems, they're other characters from other franchises. So Otacon is in the game. For some reason, that's the only one I can think of right now. But there was like a lot of
Yeah.
just tons
This
of.
game is going to
this
get an
the
honorary
ultimate
golden crosshair from me
crossover game.
just because of all the characters in it.
Yeah,
And it's
it-
like nobody else has done this before.
it's crazy. And then so they're doing this thing like to unlock the spirits, you like have to fight a battle. But since those characters, the spirit characters, aren't in the game, they've decided to like, oh, we'll just like substitute them with kind of related characters or like characters that have similarities, and then adjust them a little bit. So what did they like? So Otacon, for example, they use
You're really
Dr.
stuck
Mario.
on him, aren't you?
Yeah, for some reason I'm stuck on him. I can't think of any other examples either. They use Dr. Mario as like the base fighter, and then he has like a giant mech or something behind him. And then you fight Dr. Mario, and then when you beat him, you get the Otacon spirit. It's strange, but also pretty cool. And then the last characters they revealed were a Pokemon, like a wrestler Pokemon. Can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, the cat.
Yeah, I had
It's like
no
a
idea
fire.
who that was.
Big
fire
I was
cat.
Like,
Yeah.
what game is this person from? And then it's like, oh, it's a Pokemon. I was like, oh,
It's
well.
from Sun and Moon.
Clearly, I have not played the latest Pokemon.
It's the starter cat Pokemon from Start, or well, not starter. His final evolution, anyway.
Oh, okay. The red one
Yeah, the cat,
red cat
the Litten or whatever it's called.
turns into a big muscly cat man.
It does.
So yeah, that and Ken is an Echo fighter of Liu, but he has different, slightly different moves, I guess. Just like in the Street Fighter games, basically. He's based on
He's
Street Fighter
basically Ken.
2, I think. So pretty cool. They showed off the story mode, which was it's secretly a Kirby game. Like that's that thing. It looks amazing. Like I'm more excited for the game now than I was before.
I know.
Me
I was also
too.
pre-ordered, but then I was like morally conflicted on after they showed the season pass, and I was like,
Yes.
I don't know.
So they made it a point to say that they don't like it's not characters that they're holding back in order to sell them to you as extras. They're just like, we're selling a season pass, but we can't tell you what's in it because we don't know what's in it. we haven't worked on anything. But it's going to be like a character, each 5 characters, each one comes with a stage,
Music.
and like music for the stage.
See, I think that's the funny point is like the selling point for me was the music. So I was like, that's like one of the features I've been looking forward to in this game is just like hearing all the music from all the games because it's like just like the ultimate jukebox mode. And then they're like more music, and I was like, more music. I'd pay for that. But I was like, Tegan, wait, stop it! You're not supposed to be trying to convince yourself on this one, but I'm like, I kind of don't think I'm gonna be able to not to because all the characters, man, there's like all of them, man. So I gotta get it. One last ride for season pass, I guess.
It really is a crazy collection. It's like 74 characters or something.
So many.
Tons of maps, and then like each map has more than one music track from the game that it's from. And it's like, it really is ultimate Nintendo crossover of everything. It's just
Yeah, like I said last time, if only it wasn't stuck in a weird fighting game. Whatever.
I mean, the real question is, what are you going to do after this, though? Because it's like, how do you top
Yeah,
this
this is the
nonsense for your
finale.
next? So it must be the final Smash game
Maybe it
ever
isn't video or they all
because
die. No more
Kirby
Smash Brothers.
fails to save them all.
he can't fail. You shut your mouth.
Or it'll be one of those things where it's like the only way to save the world is like to break all the worlds apart, and then this is like the beginning of Kingdom Hearts.
I was just about to say, that's the story of Kingdom Hearts. What are you doing right now?
And that's why Super Mario is not really connected to the other ones anymore because of Smash Brothers.
Haha, it was a Keyblade War all along. It was a secret Kingdom Hearts game all along.
Oh wow, yeah, it's like 2 ultimate crossover games. Who will reign supreme? Oh, and then they announced that Piranha Plant would be a free download sometime after the game released if you pre-order.
That was an interesting reveal.
It was really interesting, but it's like it kind of works. Like
It can't
the
not
Piranha
work how to call it
Plant-
Smash Brothers at this point. Where it's like they've taken so many and it just like they don't care. It's like, does it work? Sure, let's do it. Can we make it work? Sure, let's do it.
Just
So
give
it's
it
just
the
like
moves
everything
and
that they
call it.
showed in the trailer that Piranha Plant can do, except for walk around, I guess. Like is stuff that you've seen Piranha Plants do in the Mario games, which was just like, wow, it does work. It does. A Piranha Plant does have enough of a move set to fill a Smash Brothers character like move set. That's crazy.
That's funny.
That is like the three big things that I can remember. They announced the Game Awards nominations yesterday, but I didn't follow it. All I know is that Spider-Man and God of War got a lot of nominations.
Which was to be expected, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to say. Like this year has been pretty crazy. There's been a lot of amazing stuff. But yeah, good on them. That is still happening in December, even though there's no PSX. But I guess Kinda Funny is going to be doing a showcase in PSX's stead, and they apparently are going to have a lot of stuff. Like a lot of developers were interested.
Sure, we'll see.
So yes, we will see.
There was the whole XO18 or whatever, where Microsoft's like, yeah, we're buying Obsidian, so, you know.
Oh yeah, that's right. And In Exile.
Oh, they bought them too? What? Man.
They did.
Well,
Both of them.
that's a bummer.
I guess we'll see. It's hard to say. You know, like those developers have all made successful games recently. Well, except for Compulsion. Like, I guess We Happy Few is not good. But
I mean, it's not like they're going to make the same rare mistake more than once in, like, quick succession, just saying.
I don't think they're going to do that. But it is far from guaranteed that these teams will make amazing first-party games. Like, making amazing first-party games I don't think, is just a matter of throwing more money at a developer. Yeah, part of the reason I think that Pillars of Eternity, is that the one that Obsidian made? Like, part of the reason that game is so cool is because it was very limited, because they just had the Kickstarter funds. And so those limits made them make the game better, because they weren't able to do some stuff. So if they have unlimited resources, they won't necessarily make a better game. They'll make a more expensive game. It'll probably look better, but yeah, it's far from guaranteed. So it's hard to say. They've bought a lot of studios, but we don't know. Probably Playground will make a good racing game, because they've been doing that this whole time. They've basically been first party.
I imagine we won't even, like, see whatever they're working on until next gen.
Yeah, that's true.
Then that makes me not worried, because I know Sony first party's got me covered. Suck it, Xbox.
We will see. I think next gen is going to be extremely competitive. It will be hard to... I think it will be another, like, console generation, where you'll feel like you have to have them. Like, right now is not one of those.
I hard disagree on that.
We'll see.
Especially if we see the prices and they're not low.
That will be a tough one to crack. We'll see. Was there... I think that's the only... Oh no, they showed Crackdown's release date as well. Crackdown 3 is coming out in February now. February
22nd?
Is it? I don't think it's 22nd.
I know,
think
I
it's
was just
15.
kidding. They're all coming out then.
I remember it's like the week before everything comes out.
Seems legit.
And they showed that multiplayer mode with the big destruction, and it appears to work. So it seems the feeling around that trailer is that it's the best one that we've seen for Crackdown 3. So yay for them. And then also there was that news of can't remember his name, the guy who brought Final Fantasy 15 to the finish line.
Oh yeah.
Tabata.
He quit.
He did.
And because of that, they canceled all the rest of the DLC that was going to come out for Final Fantasy 15 this year. So you'll get one, one of the DLC, and then the rest of them are all canceled.
Good thing it wasn't a season pass. Oh.
Too so.
So that reminds me of Telltale. Which reminds, like, I was thinking about Telltale the other day. I was like, Telltale, it's like the second time we've heard that story of an executive at a successful game developer saying, this is how the games have to be now, from now on, and then just destroying the studio. Because, yeah, Walking Dead was their hit, and then the mandate from above was all of our games will be like this. And so all the games afterwards were kind of same-ish in that way. Like, they had little differences, but they were mostly like clunky action sequence followed by making decisions, and then probably someone that you like is going to die, and then you feel bad about it.
Yay!
Now they're gone. And then, yeah, like Supermassive had that problem too. Their hit was Until Dawn, and then from above they're like, all of our games have to look cinematic and amazing like that. And then, like, what was like Fireteam Bravo came out, and they're just like, well, because we had to make it cinematic, and that meant we couldn't have text and stuff in the game, so we had to take all the weapons out because it didn't make any sense. So that's why there's only 3 weapons, because those were the only ones that made sense without explanation. It's a shotgun, it's a rifle, it's a pistol. Yeah. Anyway, side news.
Seems legit.
Every time I see Final Fantasy's multiplayer, I still think it says compadres.
I mean, it's basically the same thing.
Final Fantasy 15 compadres. Yeah. Any other news? I think that is all I remember.
There was something about Destiny not making enough money, or not enough money, but like not as much as
Oh,
they
yeah.
wanted to.
Activision is
Look
disappointed.
out, there might be some microtransactions coming our way. Oh no!
And then Bungie was like, no, we're not disappointed, but
We're fine.
that's just damage control. So, who knows how that shakes out.
It probably was fine. It's just that Activision's just really greedy.
I feel like this deal has not turned out the utopian way it sounded when they first signed it.
10-year plan.
Yeah, in the beginning it was like 10-year plan, and Bungie gets all the freedom to make whatever they want, and then they own the IP, so it's just like published by Activision, but like Bungie owns Destiny. And it's like, developer dream contract, and now it's like, well, we have to pump out a sequel every 2 years, and then that didn't work, and then the rollout of content didn't work, and they had to change all that, and then change all this, and it just feels like they're under the gun now all the time. They knew it was going to be live service, but it's just like, this is different. This is just like they constantly chasing the progress, just like how quickly people eat through the content, and Activision's like, more, pump out more sequels, pump out more.
Fact.
You're not producing enough cakes. We need more cakes. Get back in the kitchen and start cooking. We're a tight
It
ship
just
in this
seems-
cake shop.
It just seems really demoralizing.
The fans
From the
are
outside.
happy with your unsatisfactory cakes.
But I have to go home for Christmas. There'll be no Christmas.
That is one tight ship of a cake factory to work at if you're in the cake making business.
A bakery?
Or that thing. There's also the thing that, like, I guess Call of Duty 4 didn't sell as well either, according to Activision as well, because they also had that thing. Didn't that wasn't that also the thing in their earnings that came out?
I did not see that one. I guess I follow more Destiny people than Call of Duty, so no one was talking about it.
Where it's like, yeah, it made a bunch, but it didn't make more than that other one that came out that one time or something.
Well, it didn't even.
Or
I
maybe
didn't
that
even.
was Red Dead 2, whatever.
I didn't see a lot of news about it. Call of Duty though, so I mean,
Yeah.
considering it's November, it's like, well, it's Call of Duty month. So
People were all talking about the Destiny thing. Red Dead 2's news was that it had already shipped like more copies than the entire lifetime of Red Dead 1.
oh my,
So something like 17.6 million copies of Red Dead 2 have already been shipped. So,
that's a good sign.
yeah, way more than the first game. Or not way more, but so quickly. It will probably be way more when all is said and done. Um, hmm. Yeah, that's all the big stuff I can think of.
All right. Anything to say before we sign off for RPG?
Um, um, no.
Anything to say before we sign off for Optical?
Yay, more gamers.
Well, in theory, I mean,
It's actually funny because like even when I called her like a non-gamer, she's like, "Well, I'm casual, okay? Like it's not like I don't play any games."
that's
Like,
not
"Oh,
something to be
okay.
proud of. What's wrong with her?
Sorry for the insult there. Let me get my terminology correct. Anywho,
I'm a
yeah.
filthy casual. Call it right. It's like, I mean, I guess if you want to be referred to as such, that's fine, dear. But yeah.
Yeah. Black Friday soon, so don't buy any games because they'll be on sale. So you know, just keep.
Well, some of them might be.
Just hold out. You might get that sweet, succulent, exotic drop of a whatever you're looking for.
But Orange Jesus doesn't love me.
So yeah, until until you see or hear from us again, Aimless Babble Z, and we're now signing off.